Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Odds here, and it's Thursday, and we're doing the Thursday Think Tank because it's off season. And that means a weekly call-in show where I have my phone, and if you are a group member or a channel member, a member of our Facebook community or our Discord community, you have access to get to the hotline phone number to call and be on the show today over the phone. So yeah, I'm looking to have a few calls today. So the way it goes is if you know the number, because you can see it, whether it's in the YouTube community chat for group members, whether it's in the Discord server or on the Facebook group, you can call in and talk to me on the air, on the speakerphone. Today, we're reacting to Masai Ujiri's end of season press conference yesterday. And also, the subject today is basically kind of assessing the Raptors season. I'm going to go over some grades from the ESPN writers, Kevin Pelton, and this guy named Zach Cram wrote something about the Raptors. And also Stargate's idea of what should the Raptors individual players be working on for this summer. So any of these subjects are valid for today as far as how do you feel like the Raptors season went? Would you like to grade them for their season? Would you like to grade any players? Would you like to talk about which players you feel like need to work on what? These are all open subjects for today's Thursday Think Tank. So let's get going. Let's get started. And yeah, I'll be reacting to what we heard from Masai yesterday. Of course, Masai, you're a badass, man. This is so funny. He is so funny. Of course, the hot mic controversy this week has been dominating the Raptors headlines in Raptors fan nation. And well, Masai acknowledged it yesterday at the beginning of his press conference. I love how he handled it too. He came up, first of all, did a Rudy Gobert. Oh, is this on? Is this mic on? Smiling. The mic on. So funny. And then he's like telling the press, don't worry, guys. Nobody's in trouble. It's no big deal. Don't worry. Nobody's in trouble. I mean, it's embarrassing. Let's just put it that way. The hot mic incident is embarrassing for the person that was saying all that stuff. They know who they are, and they know they're probably being red in the face. I'm pretty sure that person sat in a different spot in the press room for the one yesterday, just so their voice wouldn't sound like it was coming from the same place. But yeah, hilarious. Masai, you're so funny, man, to come up there and tell them make the jokes about the hot mic. It's so good, man. And Scotty could watch that and laugh his ass off too, seeing that kind of stuff, man. But yeah, Masai was awesome. He's on point. He's just the way he is. You know, this is why Masai Ujiri is such a great leader of our team, is because he's very passionate. He's very true, and he's very much got a vision that's clear. And also, he's the kind of person that will inspire those around him. He really is an inspiring person. And well, he wasn't really talking the rah inspiration speeches yesterday. It was more about I'm proud. I'm proud of what we've been starting to build here in Toronto. I'm proud of my coach. I'm proud of my players. I'm proud of my franchise player, Scotty Barnes, and the A+ work he has done to improve on defense and also as a leader. And yeah, he talked about all kinds of subjects. Once again, Masai clears the air on all kinds of things that are kind of half worries for people. The press doing a pretty good job with most of the questions. You know, they asked them a lot of tough questions. They asked them about Chris Boucher. They asked them about the U.S. situation politically right now. They asked them about Rodgers' ownership being primary owner now. They asked him a lot of questions, and he was very explicit and open and honest and very, very just, you know, how he's been when he does these interviews. He's very open, guarded, smart, proprietary, but still very open and honest about things. You know, I want to talk about this. I was talking about this on the Discord in my reaction. I did a live reaction to Masai's press conference yesterday afternoon on the Discord, and some members got to watch it. The two things I really am really impressed with by the front office in the last year for the Raptors are two things. One of them was preemptive, and actually, both of them were preemptive, but very, very smart how they were announced. The first one is the Brandon Ingram deal. You know, Josh Lundberg asked Masai Ujiri a question yesterday about why did you decide to switch gears on the rebuild and kind of fast track it? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? And He said basically, the position we're in a unique position. The only team that's outside the United States, and we got to take the opportunities when got them and jump on them. And the opportunity to get Brandon Ingram was at the trade deadline, not in the summer in free agency. It was at the trade deadline. So in some ways, we preemptively did our free agency this summer by trading to get Brandon Ingram and signing him to an extension. That whole move was brilliant because in some ways, this is the problem. These media guys want a plate of food, of things that they can write about, something they can write about, and they love negativity. They love problems. They love toxic shit. And well, the Raptors are so well run, such a tight ship. These guys have nothing, nothing. And it's really amazing. Bobby and Masai are masters. They signed Brandon Ingram to that extension long before any kind of article by Granger Lewinberg could be written about gaslighting us about, oh, they may not be able to sign Brandon to the extension. Why would they make this trade? They didn't even get a chance to write those articles. And it was really, really brilliant the way they did that. It's very, very finely crafted, guys. I'm telling you, there's a lot to it that is really, really just well done. Now, the other move that I feel like the front office did this year that was absolutely brilliant and really, really genius is the extension for Darko. They did that extension last summer. After 1 year of Darko and the good vibes and seeing how things went with him. They had confidence that he was the right guy, and they nailed him down. But they didn't publicly announce it. They did it last summer. In some ways, this is what two things happened with this. Darko had privately the vote of confidence of the front office that his job was safe and that they wanted him around. We've seen how coach has been treated this season. Mike Brown, Michael Malone, Taylor Jenkins. In some ways, having that peace of mind for Coach Royakovich is very valuable. And, well, by doing the extension last year, even privately and nobody knowing it, Darko knew it. Darko knew his job was safe, so he could do it with more confidence without feeling like he's on a hot seat. The other thing is about it, because they did it so long ago, when they did finally announce it near the end of the season, it totally squashed any kind of anti-Darko, let's fire Darko talk from fan nation or the press. Seriously, think about this. This is very well crafted. In some ways, the deal's been done. It's over and done with. It's old news, but it's new news to everybody and being revealed. And in some ways, revealing it right at the end of the season like this is brilliant. Because what are Raptor fans going to do? Some of the half-ass, dumbass casuals that kind of half-ass watched the team and didn't really watch them this year just because they knew they were losing a lot this year, not real ones like us, we're there every day for them. They're going to come out and spout, they think they have a valid opinion and say, oh, well, look at his record. He hasn't won but 55 games in the first 2 seasons of being the Raptors coach. Well, any of that noise gets put out. Those fires are put out because the water's already been dumped on the fire. And that is the front office believes in him. The players believe in him. Everything's working fine. And, they did an extension for him a long time ago. So this is a moot point. This is a dumb story. The front office has shown their confidence in him. So there's no shakiness here. So, yeah, put down that pen, Michael Grange. There's no article to write about at the end of the season that Darko may be possibly considered to be fired. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant the way that Bobby and Masai work. And the timing of the announcement of his extension at the end of the season. It quiets the fan nation, and the press have nothing to write about because Darko has no bullseye on his head for his job. It's so awesome. That's just a little bit. Those two maneuvers right there, how they did the Brandon Ingram trade and the extension for Darko were masterful GM moves. And casuals will not understand totally what I'm saying here, but if you listen to me, I explained it real clear right here. Because seriously, can you not understand the genius of what I just explained about how they put out a fire for our coach all the way back last summer? And then they also put out a fire for free agency speculation. What are the Raptors going to do this summer to improve their team? Well, they're ahead. They did their homework early. They didn't wait till the last minute to do the homework the night before. No, they did their group project the first day they got it. And got it done, and they're just crafting it. In fact, Brandon got to hang around and watch everybody and get acclimated and orientated and already pre-visualize himself in the system and what he would be doing with his new teammates. He got a long, long chance to sit on the bench and see it all from there and really soak it up and get it there. In some ways that's smart, because Scotty last year, he took a leap partly in leadership and understanding the game of NBA. and all what it takes from having an outside perspective from being injured at the last half of the season last year and watching it from the bench. Well, Brandon Ingram was that guy in school this last half of the season this year, and he didn't get to play, but he got to watch a lot. And once again, he's a student of the game. It's not like he was coming to the Raptors functions or just showed up to get the check. No, he showed up for everything since he got traded to Toronto, and he's soaking everything up like a sponge. The culture, the mentality, the philosophies, the schemes, the plans, and he can see it. He can see the big bright picture, and he can see where his part of it is in it all. So he's getting a pre-orientation to play with them by sitting there, getting the personalities, understand what's going on, and like he said, he's watching the game and imagining himself in the middle of it and what his part would be. And that's fantastic. Of course, also Brandon has made it very clear in his interview on Monday that the two things he really wants to do to fit in with this team is to match their defensive intensity, be as gritty as them, and also show his passing side of things. And that, you know what? That doesn't sound like he's going to be a problem at all. He gets the program. He's a team player, and he's going to be adding his immense skill and talent to the Raptors kit and caboodle of talent next year. And there's not going to be issues. You know, it's funny. Like Darko said, sacrifice. He went off on that. You know, it's like Masai said, we got to acquire talent. We got to add more talent. In some ways, I put Scotty and Darko in a tough place. You know, Scotty's in a tough place with the team and what we can do to compete right now with injuries. And then, you know, not having all the pieces. But Brandon's there on the bench. You can see him. You know, in some ways, he apologizes to Brajakovic and Barnes for putting them in a tough spot in the makeup of the Raptors right now, but it's an unfinished product. He's going to be adding people. He's added Brandon. We got to see how he fits and how he adds, and we got to see what happens with this draft. Masai made it very clear at the press conference yesterday that if the Raptors do win the draft, if we do get the number one pick and get in line to draft Cooper Flagg, the ownership is fully going to give them the green light to go into the luxury tax and spend money to keep Cooper Flagg. So at this point, as much as I've been anti-capture the flag, well, I trust in Masai. And when Masai says something, I go with him. And well, he's saying right now, if the Raptors are lucky enough to win the lottery and get the number one pick in the draft, they have the green light to go get Cooper Flagg and spend on it because Rodgers has said that's all right. So I love that. They said that straight up. Now, it is going to do some weird stuff to our salary cap, but they want to add the best talent. And if we get number one, they will draft Cooper Flagg to Toronto, guys. They will. Seriously, if they get number one. But so much stuff. Masai is just so awesome. He's a really, 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 really good leader. And, he brought up championship. That's the ultimate goal always. Why does he do this job? He always thought this all along. He just wants to get championships. And he brought up how he doesn't feel satisfied from the first Raptors championship once again. And you can still see pain in the moment robbed from him by that security guard. He mentioned it again. So in some ways, he's using that ugly incident of racism when the Raptors won their first championship as a motivator to say, you know what, this never actually happened. In some ways, he's like doing what Men in Black do with their little zapper, their neuralizer. He neuralized the first championship from his brain so that he'd be more hungry and passionate and driven to go get the second one. That's brilliant, man. Seriously. How do you beat like resting on your laurels after getting to the pinnacle, to the top of the league? How do you do that? You forget you did. You say, well, that doesn't count because some racist ass security guard wouldn't let me get on the court and celebrate right when we won. That doesn't count. So I want to celebrate this time is what he said. Yeah, it's very interesting stuff. Once again, Bobby and Masai don't lie. They're not trying to trick anybody. They're very explicit and clear about what they're doing. And anybody who adds anything extra to it, you're the aberration. You're the part that is not making sense because you're adding some wrinkle to it for your own gain or whatever, article writers or journalists or fans that just want to add bullshit and not believe in these guys. You know, you guys are the ones that are tainting it, not them. You can listen to them. They're very clear. They're very straightforward. They're very honest. And they do answer the questions. Just like with Chris Boucher. What did Masai say yesterday? He said, listen, I know Chris Boucher. I love Chris Boucher. He's family. He's been on this team the longest. He's someone who is always going to have a special connection with us. He's family. But I know him. I know him very, very well. But I do not know Jonathan Mobo. I do not know Jamison Battle. I do not know Colin Castleton. So, I mean, he explained right there more, just like why we didn't play Chris. Darko's been saying it for the last part of the season, too. It's like, look, we want to see other guys. And Masai said it once again and reiterated it. It's nothing against Chris. He said he applauded him for being a true professional in the difficult situation. Of course, everybody wants to get out there and play. Of course. And Masai also said, this does not diminish Chris's value. Everybody knows Chris's value. He said, I get calls every day from teams about inquiring about Chris Boucher. So, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be. There were overtures that Masai wants to work with Chris to bring him back on the Raptors next year. But also, it does kind of seem like there's signs that he is going to allow him to be in free agency and to the best, highest bidder win. So we'll have to see what happens with Chris. Either way, it doesn't tarnish the time served and the time and the accomplishments and the things he's already done in a Raptors jersey. So it is what it is, guys. And Masai was very, very open and honest about all kinds of subjects. I will also love to hear y'all's reaction to Masai. If you want to call me, you can tell me on the air. It's because the phone line is open. I won't say the number over the stream, but if you have access to find the number, you can totally call me. Trevor J's first in with the comments. He's saying, y'all better start being aware of your surroundings. Yeah, they're jacking people off the streets in the United States. Just out of the blue, not even really acting like cops, just wearing masks and grabbing people. That is not democracy. That is not freedom. That is fascism. That is dictatorship. That is Nazi kind of crap. And in some ways, this is really good words of wisdom for people that live in the United States right now. I would say to anybody who's from other countries or considering going to the United States, don't go there. Because literally at all the borders and in the airports, they're checking your devices to see if you have any anti-Trump stuff on there, and they will treat you like you're a criminal. They'll either tell you to leave, you can't come across the border, or they may, you know, I've heard some people are getting put on no travel to the United States for a year lists and shit like that. There's really, really fucked up shit going on down there. And they're using the data from the government and other places and looking at your devices to decide a lot of shit. This is a really, really dangerous time where data on computers and phones can be utilized and weaponized by Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and the U.S. government. So be very, very careful. If you have to travel to the United States, do not have anything on your phone that's anti-Trump because you may give yourself extra trouble you don't need. It's so fucked up. This is what dictatorship and fascism looks like, guys. And anybody who can't see it or understand it, you are lying to yourself if you can't see what this is. An innocent man was sent to El Salvador, and he's probably dead right now. And they're trying to cover it up by saying, oh, we can't send him back. Yeah, it's probably because you already murdered him. And that's a huge, huge problem. Very, very, very big problem. This election here in Canada is so important. Register to vote, early vote, vote by mail, go and vote on voting day. But do not sideline on this. This is for our country also. And we'd be stupid if we couldn't see the preview of the movie from the movie of the states and their election last year and make the same damn mistake up here in Canada by voting for Poilievre. That would be one of the stupidest things Canada could do because Poilievre is Trump here. And we need to stand against fascism in our own country. So do not vote for the Conservative Party. Strategically vote against them. I would normally vote for the NDP. I'm an orange person. But I know that strategically, my best vote is for the red Liberal Party. I don't necessarily line up with the Liberal Party, but in some ways, they're in the between the NDP, the people I actually am with, and the very fucked up Canadian Maple MAGA Poilievre. And that's the thing. Conservatives, he is not your conservative. He is not. Your conservative is Mark Carney, who used to work for Stephen Harper, a conservative prime minister. He is the middle ground. He is the one we can trust in this situation. I know y'all don't want NDP. I don't want PC. So can we compromise on Liberal Party this election, Canada? Because we need to do this to keep ourselves strong. In some ways, the corporate media is already attacking Carney in extra special ways than the other candidates. So be aware of this. Follow the money and understand people like Loblaws and the corporate media in Canada do not want Carney because, well, that's a good sign that you should vote for him. Let's just put it that way. When the corporations start turning on a candidate like Bernie Sanders, you know that's the right candidate for you. Trust me. Trust me. You can tell. The right people are upset with the person. Well, that's the person you should vote for. And it's usually the corporations, the billionaires. You need to look for who they're endorsing and who you should vote opposite. That's basically it right there. Yeah, let's see. Trevor's saying, y'all better start being aware of your surroundings here. There are people in your life who hate you secretly, but laugh with you every day. Be careful. Don't allow anyone to steal your joy from you. Yeah. In some ways, what I do on this channel, I'm a sitting duck. I could have anybody come in here and frenemy me, and they've done it. They've been people that have joined my channel and acted like they were my friend, but they weren't. They weren't on the download. They were like this, what Trevor's describing. So you got to be ready for this. Don't allow anyone to steal your joy from you. Keep it sacred and keep it to yourself. And don't allow anybody to have the power to take your joy away from you or give your joy. You need to keep it for yourself. You turn it on and off yourself. There you go. Thank you, Trevor, for your words of wisdom. Yeah, Trevor J saying Miami Heat beat Chicago and the Mavericks beat the Kings. AD and Thompson dominated them. Well, I am officially 0 for 4 on the play-in games. Every team that I wanted to win lost in the first 4 games of the play-in, and I'm kind of disappointed. Honestly, I'm really disappointed in the Bulls. I feel like the Bulls should have beat the Miami Heat. The Heat are not as good as them, but this is a testament to Spoelstra. This is a testament to Tyler Hero. And they did a good job of like doing enough. The problem is the Bulls, when they're rolling, they can really shoot the lights out. But if they have people defending them in a certain way and they don't shoot a good percentage, well, they'll lose. And Kobe White last night shooting like 5 for 20 something. That's high volume, no efficiency. Now that's a key right there. You need Kobe White to shoot like a good percentage and make most of his shots. When he doesn't, he's going to screw you up and you're going to lose. Josh Giddey did not shoot well either. He shot like 9 of 21 or something crazy like that. And I'm just saying, the shooting is what killed both teams last night that played in the play-in. The Kings could not shoot well. DeMar and Zach LaVine have very, very poor shooting percentages. And same with the Bulls. And the teams that shot better won last night. Also, the teams that have more defensive edge won last night. And on the down low, more of a playoff veteran experience. For the Mavericks, it was AD and Klay Thompson. For the Heat, it was Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. So it is what it is. And, well, these teams are eliminated. It's interesting that it's the Bulls and the Kings, 2 teams that have been associated with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan in the last couple of years. In some ways, I feel like, they're convenient right outs. Just kind of get out. Bulls fans are like, why do we go through this season like this to get to this point where we're this point? We didn't make the playoffs and we're not in the lottery. This sucks. This is horrible. I get that. And the Kings, it's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, this is the thing. The gelling of Anthony Davis with Klay Thompson and that crew happened enough for them to do this. If Anthony Davis is not healthy and not playing in the game last night, the Mavs don't win. The Mavs do not win. And Klay had a good game. Klay had a little bit of his former glory and old playoff times. So, man, I got this totally wrong. It is what it is. No DR DeRozan in the house to help the Kings out. Why weren't you there, DR? DeMar, use your secret weapon, bro. Use your secret weapon, man. I was disappointed about all that. Seriously. Trevor saying, I love how Masai handled that one reporter about the type of players. Yes, it was you who sat there and told me. I don't remember this exactly how this went down, the way you're explaining it. I like that and it seems like our team has shifted their focus from a type of player to a different type of player. In the Nick Nurse era, it was the Vision 6'9". We wanted to get a lot of wings, 6'9" size players that could, play both, all facets of the game. They were multi-talented, all-around players. Well, we don't really have that anymore. We do have point guards and centers now, and we're not just a huge collection of wings. We kind of scrapped the Vision 6'9" idea, but our vision is Vision 2-way now because Darko's brought it up, Masai's brought it up in both the interviews the last 2 days, saying that they are targeting guys that are 2-ways. And, you could have 2-ways at all positions. In some ways, Jamal Shedd's got to work on his offense, but he could get to be more of a 2-way player if he gets better offensively. Manuel quickly on the flip, he's very good on offense, but he could improve on defense. So, and even Jakob Poeltl, think about his year this year with his offensive hub duties. He's become more of a 2-way center because he's more of an offensive threat along with the stellar defense he's always had. So the identity of the team now is everybody needs to be like a two-way kind of player. And you can see the identity of this fleshed out with commitments to players like Roden and Lawson. Because Roden and Lawson are both two-way players. And they're cheap two-way players. They're valuable. They're like middle position two-way players, wing two-way players. And in some ways, they're great insurance and backup for the philosophies of the two-way kind of team that we're trying to build with the Raptors right now. So, that's the thing. We went from Vision 6-9 to two ways. That's what it's all about. We want to develop everybody into more of a two-way player. RJ, you got to get better on defense. We need you. You're great on offense, but we got to get you better on defense. You're a two-way player. You got to try and be more of a two-way player. Jacoby Walter works so hard on defense already. He's going to be great on offense. He's a two-way player. Oshai Abaji, he's got two-way player skills. Grady Dick has to get better on defense, just like RJ, and increase his defensive side of things to be more of a two-way player. That is that is what you have to be a Raptor right now. You have to have both sides of the floor. That's right. You have to have both sides of the floor. Smooth saying the Kings lose. The GM resigned in the position after the game. Big changes coming in Sacramento. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Doug Christie, hopefully he can get a chance to coach that job, but I don't know if that's going to happen because there's so many huge names that are now free agents in the coaching carousel in the NBA for the summer. And it could very well be the Kings are like, yeah, we want to try and go get Mike Budenholzer or Taylor Jenkins or Michael Malone, something like that. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. There's going to be a coach's carousel already this summer, mainly because of those firings in Memphis and Denver. And, Mike Brown's out there too. And we're hearing some stuff about, his name getting bounced around with some of the openings in jobs here too. Mike Budenholzer, there's some coaches out there. So I don't know if the Kings will make the commitment to our guy, Doug Christie. Who knows? Maybe they will, though, because they feel like he's done some sound things. And the front office is taking the heat, and they're out already. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Smooth saying, yeah, I read that. Trevor saying DeMar was the only one who really did something for the Kings last night, but it was not enough. Yeah, he shot 33 points. But once again, DeMar had one of his games. DeMar's a great scorer. I love DeMar. I feel like he is really like the greatest Raptor of all time. He's really close to Kyle. On certain days, I say it's Kyle. On certain days, I say it's DeMar. But the thing about DeMar is he is a high volume, not always efficient player. He can have very efficient games and play at a very high level. But more often than not, DeMar is high usage, but not totally efficient. And in some ways, that's part of the thing with last night. Him and Levine could get 60 points almost between the two of them. But if they take like 40 shots between the two of them, sometimes that's not good. Sometimes that's not good. So it is what it is. I'm sad to hear that our Raptors on the Kings are eliminated from the playoffs. And also, I'm disappointed in the Bulls, man. I really do feel like the Bulls should have gotten past Miami. Miami, without Jimmy, should have been beaten. That's what I got to say right there. They should have been beaten. Let's see. Monique is here. Super fan Mo, the greatest. We love you, Mo. I hope you're having a great, fantastic Thursday so far this morning. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. And Masai, we trust. Everything is spot on. Giants of Africa too, draft, etc. Let's go. Yeah, Masai touched on the stuff going on with Basketball Africa League a little bit. He talked about the Europe League that Adam Silver's talking about. And he said, in some ways, the Raptors are a very unique team in this whole situation as the only global team in the NBA right now, the only team outside the USA. This was kind of how he turned around the question about, Masai, do you have any fears or worries about the growing political issues in the United States right now and your place in the NBA? I mean, I do. I have fears and worries about this. But Masai was interesting with the way he answered it. He's very diplomatic. In some ways, this is the thing. Masai Ujiri wheels and deals with billionaires like Larry Tannenbaum. He has a little bit of insider knowledge on certain things. And I said something on the stream a couple weeks ago that I feel like is going to ring more and more true as things heat up in the States with bullshit from Donald Trump. Donald Trump's not good for business. And, we can talk about who actually runs this world and this planet. And, well, it's corporations right now. It's very, very rich people. It's people that are driven by profit who want to make sure business is good and it continues to happen. Well, Donald Trump's kind of disrupting that right now. And, well, people that are making money off the NBA makes a lot of money. It's very powerful. It's not easy to stop the NBA, but a pandemic did it. But in some ways, if there's some sort of way politically or some sort of things can happen, big corporations are going to stop the bullshit that's happening in the United States to a degree. They won't stop all of it. And there will be fascism seeping into everyday Americans' lives more and more down there. But when policy and really stupid decisions with tariffs and stuff like that start to affect their bottom line, they fucking start getting motivated politically to stop this shit. And I feel like in some ways that is one of the biggest protections for the Raptors in this world right now with this Donald Trump bullshit is that, it's a big, huge corporation that makes billions of dollars. It has power, it has clout, it has lobbyists. And in some ways, Adam Silver, he's not only worried about like the health of the league and making sure the league is doing well with the rules and the quality of the game, the all-star game and all that kind of shit. He's worried about protecting the league and being able to operate the way that it does amidst political chaos. And I mean, in some ways, you could say, this is where corporations could be good because they may be part of what stops this fucking madman that should never been president the first time, let alone the second time. So this is interesting. In some ways, I don't know. Maybe Masai he didn't really want to touch the subject like I'm talking about it right now. He kind of basically diverted from it. He said, yes, we're looking at expanding into Europe. And so it was like, wait, that's not what they asked you, bro. They're asking you if you're worried about the Raptors situation being the only Canadian team in an American league with a fucking president that is fucking talking out of his ass about annexation and all kinds of crazy shit. That's what they asked you, bro. Well, he diverted and he said, we're global. Don't worry about it. We have other markets. Would it be something weird? Like if the NBA goes all fucked up because of Trump and they're only inside their borders, like he closes the borders, it's going to be really hard to cross the border even more because of Trump's bullshit. Maybe that Adam Silver sets up a Europe league and we're starting to play in that league instead just because of bullshit with the United States. I mean, I don't know what's possible. Anything could be possible with this crazy shit going on. But like I said, one of the biggest things that will protect the Raptors and their specific unique situation in this is that it is a huge business and there's billions of dollars at stake and people they care about this shit. They really do. In some ways, the status quo don't want to be upset like this, is what I'm saying. But yeah, he diverted. He talked about Basketball Africa League. He talked about Adam Silver wanting to move to Europe. He diverted. I mean, I love it. He brought up Shamshay. It was like cool to watch Shamshay progress from like it being a young teen to where he is as a late teen. It's really interesting. And like Masai is really big on that project. But once again, he reinforced that infrastructure is so important for the Basketball Africa League. They need more arenas. They need more training facilities. And as Masai said, with more of that built, there will be more prospects. There will be more players. And he also touched on the NIL in college and how that may actually draw more global players to college teams because there's money in college now. And there may be more young Europeans, young Asians, young Africans that are making their way to the NBA now to play in it because of that. There's already been some signs of this, but people like Malawach and stuff like that, Igor Denham coming in this year in the draft. Yeah, very, very interesting stuff. The global questions for Masai yesterday. Very, very interesting. So we're saying DeMar and Zach reunited in SAC only to do what they did in Chicago. Wow. Well, I want to give them credit because they were kind of thrown together. There was a coach's firing this year. Jonas showed up in the trade deadline. It's not a winning combination. Chicago discovered this over a few years. And in some ways, I thought it was ridiculous when Sacramento picked up Levine. I thought it was dumb. I was like, okay, this didn't work in Chicago. Why do y'all think this will work out there? I mean, they may like each other and they may like playing with each other, but I don't think DeMar DeRozan should be playing with Zach LaVine. And in some ways, the guy who needs to leave there is Levine. If you could keep DeRozan with Jonas, that's a winning combination that's proven. That is. And DeMattis, he's great too. It's just, man, I don't understand why y'all got Zach LaVine. Seriously, his contract sucks. He's a toxic contract. And he's not a winning player. Once again, he's another one of these guys like Bradley Beal that will block you from success. High usage, low efficiency, overrated player, Zach LaVine. Always has been. Shaq Lindsay, I've always believed that. Shaq Lindsay trying to get me to go get him. Kareem's here, y'all. Good to see Kareem. Butt Dialer. Good morning to all. Unless you're a Kings or a Bulls fan, my condolences to them. Yeah, Kareem, man. Sorry I took down your post on there. I think I'm going to have a rule in the Discord. I don't want any AI-generated posts in there. I can't stand AI stuff. I really can't. And he posted a picture of DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry with Doug Ford in a Raptors jersey made in AI. And I'm like, fuck this shit. I hate Doug Ford. I don't want to see him in a Raptors jersey. And I fucking hate AI so much. So that's why I deleted it. In some ways, I might have a rule about that. I have that rule in a Facebook group that I run right now, not for long though, where no AI posts can be posted because it's a classic pro wrestling group and AI has no place in that spot. And then to me, I don't have no place for it in my life. This is where I check out and say, I'm an old head. And in some ways, I'm not going forward with the world with AI. I'm going to be out here in the forest and just be totally dumb to it. And in fact, that's part of the reason why I'm leaving Facebook is because AI is about to take over it. And I don't want to be around to see all the fake imagery and get fooled and duped by a whole bunch of dumb shit that's coming right now. So in some ways, I'd rather get back to nature. I don't need no AI. I need dandelions. I need bumblebees. I need squirrels and trees. That's what I need. So yeah, all due respect, Kareem. Just so you know why I did that. I don't want to delete posts in the Discord, but in that one I had to because first of all, I fucking hate Doug Ford, and I never want. I mean, and Rob Ford, and I never want to see him in a Raptors jersey like that. That's fucking disgusting to me, honestly. Let's see. Kareem saying Zach LaVine and DeMar went out west to lose in play-in at 10 p.m. Eastern. It says 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That's funny. That's funny. You can get a dunk for that. Yeah, this is kind of the action that these guys have had in the years with Chicago. They lose in the play-in and go out. You know, it sucks, man. In some ways, I really love DeMar and I want him to get more success. And I hate seeing him go out like this. I really do. All right, Kareem Thomas, you got a dunk for this. You're at 60 now. So that's what, 20 dunks for the year now. That's awesome, man. Good job, Kareem. Good job, my guy. All right, let's see. Smooth saying technically, hang on, it jumped ahead. Let me make sure I get to the right spot. No. Technically, Memphis should beat Dallas, but with what that team, who knows? Ha ha ha. He's laughing at Kareem. Yeah, these are the other matchups now. So I guess it's going to be Memphis versus Dallas and Miami versus Atlanta, and the other one, yeah, man, and the winner gets Cleveland. Miami versus Atlanta. Both those teams will get roasted and probably swept by Cleveland for sure. And then the other side, the winner is going to get the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round. So it'll be either the Mavs or the Grizzlies. Man, I mean, I don't know. I still feel like the NBA might railroad the Mavs out and the Grizzlies will still get in the first round and they'll get to play the Thunder. We'll have to see. If all goes the right way, the Grizzlies should win this game. I'm surprised the Mavs won last night. I mean, in some ways, but that's partly Clay and his experience and Anthony Davis too. Those guys are guys who are champions who've gone all the way in the playoffs, and they kind of know what they're doing in some ways like that. Interesting, though. Trevor saying this playoff is very interesting. Who do you think's going to win may lose, and who do you think's going to lose may win? This is something that Masai touched on yesterday, that Adam Silver has done an excellent job on building parity in this league, and he's right. After the Warriors dynasty, there's been a different champion every single year since us. And, like he said yesterday in the interview, who do you think's going to win the championship this year? You can't clearly just say this team is going to win the championship for sure this year. In some ways, that is great for the health of the league. And Adam Silver has been extremely successful at building a structured league that allows for parity at this point and got rid of the issues that were around things like the Warriors dynasty and seeing the Warriors versus the Cavaliers every single year in the finals. That got stale. And people were starting to tune out the NBA. So Adam Silver made a difference. He changed it. And parity is what he installed. And well, with parity, it allows all the teams in the league to have a better chance to actually rise up and grab that championship at the end of the year. It used to be there was a stratosphere. You could be a playoff team, but you couldn't be that person. This is what Masai said. It's like it would be like LeBron in your way, Kobe in your way, the Spurs in your way, Kevin Garnett and the Celtics in your way. But now with the salary cap and the parity in the league, it's anybody's league to win. It really, really is. It's more like the NFL in some ways like that. The NFL, it's the same kind of thing. Every single year, it's a wide open who could win the Super Bowl because they have good parity in the NFL. They do not have good parity in the MLB. They do not because it's pay to win. And the Dodgers can pay as much as they want. They can buy World Series, So the parity in the NFL, the parity in the NBA is very good. And that is a good, healthy thing for the NBA. In some ways, the NBA was like MLB a couple of years ago, but not anymore. And that's very, very good. That's very, very, very good. Smooth saying, shame on me for thinking the Bulls would win that game. They suck. I know. Shame on me, too. I mean, they looked amazing when they played us the last game that they played us against us in the season. That's part of the reason why I based on it. But, well, I got to remember, yeah, if they're not shooting well, they suck. And they have to be shooting well for them to be successful. And they were not shooting well last night. They were not. And Kobe White is very important for them to shoot well. But he didn't. He didn't. Yeah, shame on all of us. I thought that the Bulls would win too. Yeah, they suck like they always have. Yeah. Besides that, though, their coach is going to be going in the Basketball Hall of Fame this year, guys. Billy Donovan announced to go in the Hall of Fame as a coach because of his time with the Gators more, not as much as his NBA career. But Hall of Fame coach, Billy Donovan, will be inducted in the Hall of Fame this year while he's an NBA coach. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool like that. They do have a Hall of Fame coach. That's right. Atlanta should handle Miami easy. I would think so. But you never know. Once again, there's this Spoelstra X factor. And in some ways, Wiggins actually played pretty good in the game last night, too. Honestly, Wiggins actually contributed for the Heat in their win last night against the Bulls. Yeah. Let's see. Most saying lots to take away from Masai exit interview. I know I did. Yeah. I really enjoyed the interview. I think that he was loose and fun. One of the things I noticed is, like, think about this, guys. We've seen a lot of Masai interviews over the years. And, well, there was a period of time, like a couple of years ago, where Masai's energy was a little negative. It wasn't like he was being a jerk or anything. It's just that you could tell he wasn't as happy. You could tell he was a little bit more depressed or a little bit morose. I wouldn't say depressed, maybe just a little down. Like he had a couple, like one press conference a couple of years ago, he was sick, and that was part of it. But also there were other times where he was kind of you could tell his energy is not feeling good. Like things were kind of rough. Well, since the draft last year and the intro media day for the season, he had good energy after that. And he explained it to us. He said, I feel better now because we had such a good draft this year. And, well, the proof was in the pudding this season. He said at the beginning of the year, the rookies excelled, all 5 of them, quality rookies, all 5 of them, quality rookies. And Masai's more confident and feeling better and have more upbeat energy. Because there was a little bit of time there where Masai's energy was a little weird and a little off and not as positive as normal. And I'm glad to see Masai back to his old self more and more right now. Yeah, Masai did go over a bit how there were issues this season, and there was a time where there was crisis, where the team had a hard time believing still and winning and what we're doing partly because people were sick. He said that everybody got sick in the middle of the season. This is probably right around when RJ kept stepping out because of the flu. RJ tosses cookies on the court, running off the court. Trevor and I saw him doing that before pregame. It's like RJ just ran off the court real fast. Oh, he threw up in the garbage can. Well, apparently everybody in the organization was sick around that time. And at that time, they didn't have enough players to play, and morale was low. And we kind of weathered the storm during that period of time around Christmas, because you saw those losses around Christmas, the one against Memphis, the one against New York. And, they were down then. But they weathered the storm. They got better. They felt better. They weren't sick anymore. And we got healthier and with no injuries. And boom, we started to play better and we got through it. But there was a period of time where everything could have fallen apart with our team chemistry and how we feel because there was adversity. There was adversity this season. And in some ways, this is why Masai is really appreciative and loves Darko. He's saying he did a really good job steering us through those rough waters. And that, we got through the end of the season like this, and we're in a really good mind space, and all our guys are bought in and believing what we're building here. So, that was revealing that, and that made sense. That was a really hard time right around Christmas. The Raptors were getting humiliated on the court in a few games and major blowouts, and we didn't have enough players to play in some ways. We had certain people out, and we just have the firepower to compete with people. So really, really, really good stuff there. Yeah. Smooth saying the Hawks should be a motivated team and a game breaker in Trae Young. Now, did they decide they're going to suspend him or anything like that for his shenanigans in the last game? That would be wrong, because that guy's a franchise player. Y'all always shit on Trae Young. Y'all do not treat Trae Young correctly, NBA. I say that. And him not getting outright all-stars is part of it. Him getting overlooked, the way they treat the Atlanta franchise in general is kind of like this. Y'all need to let Trae Young play because he needs a chance to redeem himself. That's what I say to that. Yeah, Trevor's saying Miami have experience in the playoffs and playing in a smart coach. That's it. That's it right there. That's part of it. That's part of it. Tyler Hero's stepping up and rising to the occasion. Monique saying each player thought is so good. Ulrich, Scotty, Chris. Yeah, I like what Masai said about all those players. He knows Chris. He doesn't really need to know him because he already knows him. That's why he didn't get to play. He's Shamshay. He's very excited about the developments with him. Kind of what he said about Shamshay is when you see a young player in a certain way, this one specifically from Africa, you can kind of tell what they could grow into be. That's part of what his job is. And he kind of spent a moment kind of like regaling in his joy of being a scout. And we talked about this in the reaction on Discord yesterday. Tristan and Reggie and a couple Stargate. I think that when you're a GM in the NBA, a prior job that's really good to have is scout. I think that that's just smart. I mean, there may be all kinds of different GMs. There may be GMs that were lawyers, GMs that were businessmen, GMs that were coaches, GMs that were former players. But I think when you're GM or you're vice president of basketball operations or president of basketball operations is a scout, that's really, really, really powerful. And that's part of the success of the Raptors. Once again, Masai don't care where we draft because he knows he's that good. He's that good with assessing talent and how they do what they do. Bobby Webster, all the scouts, he named a bunch of them yesterday. So in some ways, it's like, I think that it's really smart that the Raptors have a president that was a scout. And you can tell Masai really loves scouting. Like he said, there's something about just going somewhere and sitting in the gym and watching players, the future of basketball, and seeing what's on the horizon and just kind of checking it out. And I feel like he gets that. Like, when he went to Africa and saw Shamshay somewhere, he probably got this really interesting feeling. The scouting feeling is like, this guy's gold. This guy is going to be somebody. I mean, look at his frame. Look at the possibility with his hand-eye coordination and some of the tests we do. Oh, wow. This guy actually, some of the specs are looking Antetokounmpo here. That's what I'm saying. So Masai kind of basically straight up said that Ulrich Shamshay is a sure bet yesterday. He seriously did say that. He said it's just going to take time. We just got to let him do it at the right schedule, but he is going to arrive at some point, is basically what Masai said. And it'll look all the better. We may be focusing on the J Rooks right now, Walter, Mobo, Shed, Battle. But in the long run, it could very well be that the young man from Cameroon, Ulrich Shamshay, is the best rookie that we drafted last summer. It's just we got to be patient. But Masai sees it. He sees it. He thinks it's a sure bet. That's basically what he said yesterday when he was talking about Shamshay. You see certain things in a player, you know they're going to come at some point. And I love that. Yeah, he was very effusive about Scotty. Very, very effusive and very appreciative. He's like, this is what he said. He's like, he said something like, Scotty said that he wants that. Okay, we're going to go with this. Same thing with Darko. They both were kind of like saying, what did Scotty say? Oh, well, he's our leader. And you know what? We were going with what he says. It's not that Scotty is running the Raptors. It's just that he's such a trusted, respected, heart in his right place kind of guy leading the team right now that not only does the coach really care about what he says and thinks, the front office does too. And, that's been the standard since he came in there. They included him in a lot of front office stuff. Scotty's gone to the draft lottery and represented us and sat at that table when the ping pong balls fall. So Scotty's involved, and Scotty feels like he has a stake in the leadership, in the direction of the team because he's being consulted. And I love that. At one point, they said something like Scotty said he thinks that we all are going to go to the playoffs next year. And Masai says, "Oh, he said that? Well, I'm with Scotty. I'm with him like that." Of course, Masai talked about championship. He brought up the word championship. He said the goal is a championship. We're going to go and try and do it. And like, what is the schedule thing? What is the schedule about a rebuild? Why does the rebuild have to take so long? The only reason why other teams take so long with rebuilds is because they make missteps. They draft bad people. They don't have the right chemistry on their team. They don't have the right coach. They don't do things exactly right in the order of things. So they make mistakes and they backtrack. They go one step forward, two steps back. What if we're a team that's just making 3 steps forward and there's no steps back? Maybe that's why our rebuild's going so quickly, because every single resource, every single decision that Bobby Masai make, they're hitting on it. It's like, look, they brought in 5 guys last year as rookies. They hit on all of them. They hired Darko Rajakovic. They hit on that. That's the thing that people need to realize. These guys are putting a lot of thought, a lot of planning, and a lot of like fine craftsmanship in what they're building here in Toronto with this rebuild. And in some ways, we can't get mad at us because we're good at our jobs and we can make a rebuild happen faster, Josh Lundberg. You can't get mad at that. You got to admire the skill of the people in the positions of the job that are doing such a good job. That's what y'all should be doing, honestly. Not questioning, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why would you question them? Why would you question them? And William Liu, what the fuck is wrong with you, man, on Hello Welcome podcast? You and Alex Wong saying that the Raptors are messing up their rebuild because they're not doing it like the Washington Wizards. What? You serious? The Wizards have not done anything successfully since the 70s, since they won with Wes Unseld. Why the fuck will we copy off of the Wizards? Why the fuck will we copy off of the Utah Jazz, a team that has never fucking won a championship? When we have the front office that won a championship already, we don't need to copy off any other fucking team that's been fucking rebuilding for a decade. That's the worst people to copy off. No, we make our own decisions. We do it our own way. And we find success in our own way, and we do it faster because we're not wasting time. We're not wasting draft picks. We're not wasting fucking the career of Scotty Barnes by spinning our wheels with bullshit like bringing in Kevin Durant and just wasting our time with him. No, we're doing it right, and that's why it's happening faster. You add in the fact that they make very few mistakes as a front office, along with the commitment of the team to get together in the offseason. And this is how you microwave a rebuild. The summer last year, the fact that the Raptors spent so much time together in the offseason, going to Spain, going to Miami, working out with each other, getting to know each other, bonding in Las Vegas at Summer League, that is a part of the reason why this team is going by faster and getting to what they want to do with their goals. They're going to do it again this summer, and they're going to fast track even further. And by next year, when we show up with a healthy Brandon and a new rookie, yeah, there's going to be hell to pay for the rest of the league. When the Raptors show up on their courts. Yeah, they're going to be hell to pay. That's what I'm saying. Anybody who's wondering why the Raptors rebuild seems like it's going quickly or hyper fast all of a sudden, well, when you're that good, you can. If you're Washington, you're going to spin your wheels. You're going to fuck up over and over again for like a decade, maybe 2, 3, 4 decades. Just keep spinning your wheels, staying where you are. Why the fuck will we copy them, Will Lou? Why the fuck will we try and rebuild a team like the Wizards? When the fuck have they ever rebuilt a team into something that was worthwhile or mattered? That's what I'm saying right there. That's what I'm saying. Masai said very explicitly, we're a unique team in this league that's very different than every single other team in this league. We do things differently. And well, they do what they do differently very, very well. And that's the difference. That's the difference right there. You know, Detroit started hitting some home runs and getting things right, and they made a big swing from last year to this year. You know, that's what it is. Let's go check in with ESPN because I've got 2 articles that I want to that talk about the Raptors. They gave us our grade for the end of the season, Kevin Pelton. There's a 2-finger salute for him, 2-finger salute for Kevin Pelton ahead of time. So we'll go ahead and do this right now. Apparently, we got a D+ from Kevin Pelton this morning on ESPN. He's saying that the Raptors, no team finished closer than 4 games in the standings to the Raptors. Okay, yeah, who cares? What does that matter? It's symbolic of their aimless position between the group competing for the play-in and those prioritizing lottery position. You know, this is gaslighting, Kevin Pelton. Why don't you tell them that the NBA made their schedule fucked up for us this year, and they gave us all our easy gimme games at the end of the year when we were supposed to be tanking out? Could you tell the truth? Are you that much of an NBA insider that you're just going to overlook that or just conveniently leave out that fact that the Raptors, because they were in a weird position, they didn't seem like they were losing as much, like the Sixers, who are really fucking good at losing on purpose, or the Nets, who really don't have a very good team, and that's part of it. We have a good team, and we had our easiest part of our schedule. So you need to elaborate on that, Kevin Pelton, when you fucking write bullshit articles like this. Seriously. Toronto couldn't avoid going 12-12 in March and April. Well, that's what happens when you give us all the games against the Wizards, the Hornets, and the Nets in those months, motherfucker. March and April against a historically weak schedule. That's right, historically weak. Historic. It was historically weak. There had never been an unbalanced schedule like the Raptors' schedule this year. They gave us all the fucking hard games right at the start and gave us all the easy games right at the end when we were already going to be submarine in the standings. I've been saying this all season. Real fans, the ones that are here in the RFF, understood this the whole time. Casual fans did not. And they were in the blue about why the fuck things were happening this way. It's the NBA schedule stacked against us in a weird way where they gave us all our hard games and then gave us all our easy games at the end. It's that simple. Hello, and seriously. And while there were some development successes, some, you didn't look close enough, my guy. You're saying there's some. I would say about 95% of this team got better this year. I would say career years for veterans in this league, including our veterans, Jakob Poeltl and Chris Boucher, who both had played in this league for 10 years. Career year for RJ Barrett. I mean, I don't know what you're trying to say here. Career year for Ochai Agbaji. A career year for obviously all our rookies came in and they excelled in their first year. So I don't get this. While there were some development success stories, man, you're not paying close enough attention. It's not even that the players developed, the coach developed too. You don't even know that, including Ochai Agbaji and undrafted rookie Jamison Battle. The most important Raptors, Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickley, saw their progress stalled by injuries. The injuries were stalled for a little while for the team. But I would say Scotty made huge progress on the down low. Once again, people that think Scotty had a bad year, you're idiots. Scotty developed more leadership, more defense, and he went and claimed some very dominant kind of actions down in the lane that he wasn't doing last year. Whether it's like bullying in the post, doing mid-range turnarounds, or attacking in transition, going right at the basket. There was a huge development year for Scotty on the down low. But Kevin Pelton, I guess you're not that much of an insider to be that inside to know this shit. So I'll say that to you. So yeah, they gave us a D+. And the only teams that they graded worse were New Orleans, Philadelphia, and Phoenix. It's absolute horseshit, man. It's absolute horseshit. Now, they're going to give the Wizards. Listen to this. This is the thing. They're going to give the Wizards, who had one of the worst records in the year, they gave them a B. They gave the Wizards a B. And the reasoning is this. It's challenging to grade teams with no realistic aspirations of winning this season, but the Wizards seem to have threaded the needle in developing their 2024 first-round picks, and fourth, A.J. Lawson was added midseason while putting themselves in prime position for the lottery. Washington was even frisky after dealing for veterans Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart, going 9-19 after the All-Star break, just enough wins for the Utah Jazz to end up with the worst league record. So they got a B. Why the fuck would you give the Wizards a B? I get it. They got Keyshawn George. They got Alex Sarr. They got Bub Carrington. And they got this Johnson kid as 4 rookies. And they did have the most points as the rookie class. But I'm going to say this once again. That team is not anywhere near competing like we are. And it's a slap in the face that you, Peloton, you would give a B to the Wizards and a D+ to us. Like, seriously, we're a better team than them. We have a brighter future. Y'all can go gaga about their rookie class, but if you're going to do that, you shouldn't ignore ours. You shouldn't ignore ours like you have, you idiots. So we'll get a little refresher here from Zach Cram, who wrote something about the Raptors yesterday. He said, why the NBA 10 lottery-bound teams have reasons for hope. And he put us at the top. First of all, I want to say, Zach Cram, I appreciate you and respect you because you wrote a very fair article about the Raptors. He said, let's take a look at the top 10, at the bottom 10 teams, the eliminated teams, and look at their silver linings. Well, he put us first in his article. And this is what he said about us, guys. He put us at the top. He said, on the team level, there wasn't any reason to celebrate the Raptors this season. But on an individual level, a number of Toronto key players made strides. RJ Barrett flashed newfound playmaking skills. He averaged 5.4 assists, up from a previous career high of 3.3. Youngsters Grady Dick and Ochai Agbaji averaged double-digit points. Jakob Poeltl quietly became one of the best two-way centers in the league. See, he just called him a two-way center. Chris Boucher and rookie Jamal Shed contributed strong seasons off the bench. This is all very fair assessment. Add in Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, and a newly extended Brandon Ingram, who didn't play a game for the Raptors after a midseason trade. Toronto has arguably the deepest collection of talent for any non-playoff team. That didn't help them contend this season. But due to that base and the Raptors' position in the shallower Eastern Conference, they might be the most likely team on this list to reach the playoffs next season. Now, Zach's not even saying the play-in. He's saying straight up, reach the playoffs. And I like this. He ranked us above teams like the Spurs and the Wizards and the Nets. and the Sixers even. He thinks that we have a better chance of making it back in the playoffs than the Sixers next year. So thank you, Zach Cram, and fuck you, Kevin Pelton. That's my ESPN check-in right there. That's my ESPN check-in there. Yeah. They have players that been there. That's right. So we're saying I just looked at Miami and I think they're a below average team, man. Yes, disrespectful, but it's how I feel. I think you're right. I really do think that they are a below average team. Some of the magic, the X factors and intangibles that Jimmy Butler have are gone, and they were absolutely essential for them to be a competitive team. Even with Jimmy Butler in the last couple of years, Miami's already been a shaky team in the Eastern Conference. Next season, they should probably be near the bottom of the Eastern Conference, if not in the middle. They're not going to be a top team. We can leapfrog them next year, is what I'm saying. We can leapfrog them. Most saying Masai is tempo ready. Yeah, I like this. In some ways, I was wondering how he'd handle the tempo question, and it was funny what he said. he said they're Teresa's headache. He's so funny, man. He's like, they're Teresa's headache. That's right. It's like, but yeah, he's gonna be very supportive. You know, it's got to be kind of a little weird because it's Kilmer Group and it's not Rogers that's going to own the Toronto Tempo. And in some ways, I'm sure there's a line where Darko and Masai they're going to show support for Teresa, obviously, because they love her. But also at the same time, you know, they have to be watching out because they work for MLSE. And but either way, the tempo is gonna be awesome. And Masai really hit on this, like, and it makes sense. Toronto tempo is gonna be a huge global brand with Serena Williams involved. It really gets a lot of attention. And well, they're lining up with CIBC now. It really is set up for the Toronto tempo. Out of all the teams of the WNBA, could be huge around the world, guys. The tempo could actually be like the world's WNBA team soon, guys. And that could be fantastic. That could be fantastic. Yeah, I love them asking about the tempo. And Darko and Masai are going to be big fans, just like we are going to be of this. Yeah, let's go look at the Instagram stories real quick. Nobody wants to call me. The phone line is open. So anybody can call me at any time if they want to just call in and give me some opinions on the Thursday Think Tank today. Coach Andrew Jones is posting he's proud that 11 players played for the 905 in the NBA this year. That's not exactly true. It's not exactly true. Were 11 players that got called up to the NBA, but one of them did not play a single game or minute of NBA action, and that was Eugene Omoruyi. So really it should be 10 players played for the 905 and in the NBA this year. Even though Eugene got called up on a 10-day for the Raptors, he never actually saw the court. But yeah, those 10 players were DJ Carton, Jacoby Walter, Brandon Carlson, AJ Lawson, Jamison Battle, Colin Castleton, Jared Roden, Ulrich Shamshay, Jonathan Mobo, and Jamal Shed. Eugene Roy is on there. But Jones is really proud of this. And you know what? That is a symbol of his job being done well, is that he had a lot of players that came through his system this year, and they went on and played NBA minutes. So there you go. Leo Routon says words of wisdom on the Instagram real quick. What is it? What? That's from yesterday. Let's see. His words of wisdom today are things everyone needs to come to terms with. No response is a response. Okay, yeah, that's true. If they wanted to, they would. Okay, that's true. Not everyone has the same heart as you. Okay, yeah. Man, in some ways, I get what you're saying. It's a message in absence. It's a message in absence. Thank you for the words of wisdom. Leo Routens. I get words of wisdom from Leo for a sec there. Yeah. Yuta Watanabe with a cool post in Japanese. I don't know what it says. Actually, I can look at the translation. It says it's official. It means I don't officially have to do a picture of the dorm. Okay. I don't even know what that talks about. Jacoby Walter being put on blast by Jamal Shed. Headband Kobe Elite. That's right. When he put the headband on, he put his hair down instead of up. He started twinning a little bit with Manuel quickly. And he started getting his game going quickly, too. And Jacoby did have a switch when he put the headband on. And his teammate is making light of that. I like that. Let's see. Toronto Tempo. History will be made today in women's sports. And that was because the NSL had their first game playing yesterday. So that history was made in the Women's Soccer League, had their first game. Really cool stuff. The first goal scorer in NSL history, repping the Tempo. We see you. There you go. I like that. Jonathan Mobo putting Wubs on blast also on his Instagram. That's interesting. Let's see. Team president Teresa Resch was at the NSL game and watching it. Big day for women's sports in Canada at that game yesterday. She's putting on blast Serena for being on the Time magazine cover. Let's see. What is this? All right, I'll read this real quick. Teresa Resch has posted this on her Instagram stories. A few weeks after the Tempo were awarded an expansion franchise in May 2024, WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert asked Tempo, oh, hang on. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, great. Hey, Lex, it's Tristan.
Tristan. All right, we got our sound guy, Tristan Trey. What's up, Tristan? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Yourself?
I'm all right. Let me see if I can get your volume up a little bit. So, Tristan, what would you like to talk about today on the Thursday Think Tank?
Well, I did already kind of mention it yesterday, but I just wanted to say, like, it's good. I like that we have Messiah, because even with the Suns and things like that, specifically, like, we're talking about how, some GMs are valuing more marketing rather than, winning. So,
yeah.
Like Bradley, like the contract, I feel like it was kind of silly, honestly. Booker was a great scorer, and then you add somebody who can't be traded.
Yeah.
Things don't work out. So yeah, I think that could have been something like that. Could have been, big names marketing, but for us, I'm happy that that's not the focus, and that internal development, growth, winning, those kinds of things, camaraderie, those kinds of things are the focus. So
I feel like with Phoenix, they've tried to hit home run balls right out the gate and kind of fast track things, and it's completely backfired on them. And I really do feel like you're right with the whole thing about Beal compared with Booker. They didn't never need Bradley Beal. It's so stupid because they had Devin Booker already. And in some ways, this is just poor management. In some ways, this is something the Raptors would never done. Is what is a good example of. It's like, well, why would you get this guy? And that's why people need to trust Masai and Bobby on the Brandon Ingram thing. Like a lot of people are wondering why the hell would they get him if they have RJ and this? No, listen, they all complement each other and they can all play. They can all play together. Yeah.
Especially with the coach. Yeah. Like, making sure all the passing, setting franchise records for assists this year, right? Like you had that. That's great work. So, and then last thing, Masai talking about, do you go over the salary? Do you go over the tax?
Yeah.
Get into the tax, and he says, well, we do it at the right time. So, I mean, kind of going back to the Suns and things like that, just briefly as we're comparing them. I feel like we kind of rebuild, and then when we feel like we can make that, as they mentioned, when we feel like we can make that extra step, at that point, we add an extra piece. So,
yeah,
I think we're in a good spot.
Yeah. They kind of, in some ways, you could make the argument that the Suns did everything in the wrong order. It's
perhaps,
in some ways they did that Beal move at the old rules at the last second, kind of like Indiana Jones trying to get his hat and coming through the door coming down. They did that. They went through and did that deal, but they didn't really think about the repercussions of it. And in some ways, like you're saying, is much like the Marc Gasol move is like you go into the tax, you go and get a big, huge talent when you're close, and that puts you over the top. They put that big move of getting Bradley Beal right at the start before they even figured out the chemistry with the team.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why they're failing over there. So, yeah, they can spend a lot of money in Phoenix, but it doesn't mean they're going to do anything right to get a win or do anything right to get a chip. Man, Tristan. So what are I hope you have a really good day, man. Anything else you want to add while you're on the air still?
That's it for now.
All right, bro. I appreciate hanging out with you on the Discord. And, man, it was really fun to watch the press conference with you guys yesterday. All the best,
Indeed.
man.
All right, have a great show.
Let's go Raptors. There you go. Tristan Trey, first call of the day. Our sound guy, man. Listen, if we can get him on the job for the audio and the press conferences, Raptors, seriously, I'm trying to tell y'all need to hire Tristan to take care of your microphones and your issues in the press room because this man is a technician on this. And I know there's unions and all this kind of stuff, but he's the right one. He's a real one. He's a RFF. He's a real big fan of the Raptors, and he would do the job right. Y'all need guidance in this area. And I'm telling you right now, Tristan Trey would help you do this job, Raptors, because he is a professional sound guy. He is already working in your arena, helping with the sound for people like Disturbed. So get Tristan in there, Masai. Seriously, you want good people? I'm advocating that you hire Tristan Trey to do the sound for the audio room. It'll just make everybody in Raptors Nation happier. Trust me. Everybody will be happier. And maybe even Tristan will know how to turn the mic off and the press will like him too. That's what we want right there. That's right. All right, let me continue reading the thing from Teresa Resch real quick. Let's see. It's saying a few weeks ago, after the Tempo were awarded an expansion franchise in May 2024, WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert asked Tempo majority owner Larry Tannenbaum if he had any room for Williams in the group, Serena. It took me exactly 5 seconds, maybe not even that long, to say, of course, said Larry Tannenbaum. The duo connected and clicked. It didn't hurt that Toronto was one of Serena Williams' favorite stops on the Women's Tennis Association Tour. The Canadian Open alternates for the women each summer between Toronto and Montreal. Williams won all 3 of her tournament titles in Toronto. You spend so much time at these places and get to know the insides of the city, she says. You get to know the restaurants. You get to know the people. You get to know the festivals and all kinds of stuff. I got to know the karaoke rooms. So, hey, Serena Williams likes singing karaoke in Toronto is basically what we're learning here. All right. I like that, Teresa Resch. Thank you for that. Oh, there's more even. Hang on. Let me read more of this. She's throwing herself into the job. Serena Williams, along with Larry Tannenbaum and team president Teresa Resch, took part in the interview process that landed the Tempo's first general manager, former WNBA player and assistant general manager of Phoenix Mercury, Monica Wright-Rogers. Williams asked Wright-Rogers what she thought was the most important aspect of player experience with the team. Wright-Rogers emphasized resources for nutrition and recovery and analytics to optimize performance. Right answer, Serena Williams said. She requested a follow-up conversation one-on-one to confirm the leadership team's hunch that Monica Wright-Rogers was the correct choice. The Tempo is betting that Serena Williams can help the team and the WNBA at large accelerate its international growth, which has lagged behind the more established men's game. We are truly positioned to be the global catalyst for the league, says Teresa Resch. The WNBA is a rocket ship in North America, but worldwide, there's no great exposure. And I don't know if there's a bigger global brand than Serena Williams. I love all this. They're really painting part of what Masai started to say in the press conference yesterday, that with Serena Williams in the fold with Toronto Tempo, they're going to be more of a global attractiveness to it. And the Toronto Tempo could be very, very popular, just like the Raptors globally because of that. And in some ways, they are, like they're saying, the catalyst for making the WNBA go global. And I like that. I like all of that. I'm loving hearing all of that. Yeah, Jacoby's got himself on blast on his Instagram stories. We got Eugenio Maroy working out in the offseason. I see him putting up shots. He's doing all kinds of goofy stuff on the court. You go, Gino. We love you, man. And in some ways, I want you on the Raptors next year. I really do. I want to see you get there. Norman Powell is working out and getting ready for the playoffs with the Clippers. And, you know, I didn't realize, but there's a lot of steam for his teammate, Zubac, to win Defensive Player of the Year this year. In fact, the 2 front runners I'm hearing are Evan Mobley and Zubac. I'd hate for Evan Mobley to win the Defensive Player of the Year before Scotty. So I would like to see Ivica Zubac win the Defensive Player of the Year if it's going to be like that. Also, we got really, really one of the most amazing Instagram stories I've ever seen yesterday. It was in Clippers practice. And of course, assistant coach Amir Johnson appeared in this. And well, Norman is grooving and so is Amir. And they're playing Anita Baker, Sweet Love, over the PA system at the Inuit Dome or whatever they call it, the new building that Steve Ballmer built, where they're dancing. And the vibes are immaculate. I'm just going to say that. Anita Baker is an amazing singer. And seeing these Raptors, former Raptors, Norman Powell and Amir Johnson getting down, it's just it'll make you feel good. Seriously. So go check out Norman Powell's Instagram stories. You'll see former Raptor and current Clippers assistant coach Amir Johnson dancing to some Anita Baker. And, it's good music. You know that song, Sweet Love. I can't do that. I'm disrespectful for even trying. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. I apologize. Let's see. Siakam, of course, is getting all kinds of exposure. People are talking to him. He's got his new celebration. It's hip. It's cool. And people want to talk to Siakam. And Siakam has been, like I said, he's been doing a lot of interviews lately. He's very, very open about his time with the Raptors, his love for Toronto, and his love for the bench mob. And I love that. And speaking of the bench mob, it was cool to see Masai, dare he say it, that he feels the bench mob energy around the nucleus of the young players in the Raptors right now. That's not something you would say lightly. Seriously. In some ways, that's something people want to say all the years since the bench mob. Are we getting a bench mob in Toronto again? And it's like, maybe. I don't know. You guys are so anxious. You want a bench mob. Well, are we getting one? Well, in Tampa, we were not. No, we were not. But Masai is calling it. as of yesterday. We got a bench mob again, y'all. You can see it. And I think Jamal Shed is the new Shed Van Vliet that's going to be leading this bench mob coming up. That's right. Shed Van Vliet's going to be taking care of business. Mark Gasol is going to be on the Zach Randolph podcast today. It's dropping today. Y'all check out Zach Randolph, former Memphis Grizzly and teammate of Mark Gasol. He's going to guest on the podcast. And there was a snippet of it that came out yesterday. And Mark was telling Zach Randolph that when I was on the Raptors and I was on that championship run, I had my Grizzlies teammates in my heart when I went out there. And in some ways, I was winning that championship for you guys too. And Zach turns around and says to Mark Gasol, when y'all won that championship in Toronto, I felt like I won with you, Mark. So that's interesting because, Mark Gasol is a Grizzlies legend. His jersey's retired there. They love him a lot. Like, he was an icon for that team. He's one of the most beloved Grizzlies in the history of the Grizzlies. And in some ways, him playing for so long with the Grizzlies and then coming to us and winning a championship out of the blue like that they felt that in Grizzlies Nation. They felt the joy that Mark got a championship. And it's kind of cool to hear Mark said, yeah, I had y'all in mind, all of my old teammates, Tony Allen, Zach Randolph, Mike Miller. I was thinking about you guys when I was in there fighting with Joel Embiid and winning a championship with the Raptors. So he, and that's cool. In some ways, it's kind of cool to think that Zach Randolph celebrated our Raptors championship vicariously through Marc Gasol's success. And I love that. I love that so much. Shamshe's out driving around, guys. I don't know what he's doing. He looks a little morose. I don't know. He's somewhere warm. I can tell that, which is good. But yeah, he's driving around. I don't know what Shamshe's doing exactly. And he's got a picture of him with an old teammate, one of his buddies, Neto. And he's saying, I got no idea what you were saying, but you were not right. I don't know. That's some sort of inside conflict with that Neto guy. And, well, I guess in some ways, Neto said something to Shamshe. It didn't pan out, and he's calling him on it now. He's calling him on it. He said it did not work out that way. That's right. All right, y'all. That's the Instagram stories for today. Good stuff, man. Like I said, it is the Thursday Think Tank call-in show. So feel free to call me on the show while I'm on air today. We had Tristan call just a little bit a while ago. Anybody who feels free to call, you can call in, get on the air just like Tristan. Espouse your views on the Raptors season. How would you grade them? Would you give them a D plus like Kevin Pelton? What a dick. A D plus? Really? That's the season we had this year? I mean, if I'm trying to be unbiased and not totally be a Homer Raptor freak, if I'm really looking at what happened this year with the Raptors, I'd give them at least a B minus. I give them a B minus. If you're going to give the Wizards a B for what they did, you got to give us a B minus. In some ways, we can't do anything about the schedule or the injuries that happened to the Raptors this year. Kevin Pelton. So give us a B minus, not a D plus. That's some bullshit. How would you grade the team? How would you grade the team? That's what I want to know. Y'all, I got to give y'all the straight goods on the Canadian goods. That's right. Today's Canadian Good is another restaurant that's here in Canada, Canadian owned. It's based out of Quebec. And it's Baton Rouge Steakhouse. That's right. Baton Rouge is a steakhouse here up in Canada. Y'all know Baton Rouge Grill House and Bar? Yeah. Well, it's came out of Quebec. They have locations across, Quebec, Ontario, and the Maritimes. So there are some Baton Rouge grill houses in our area. So it's another kind of steakhouse kind of chain in this area that is Canadian owned. And if you want to only support, Canada, and you're not trying to buy no American fast food bullshit restaurants, no McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Denny's, any of that bullshit, well, feel good about going to Baton Rouge Grill House, because that is a Canadian brand, a Canadian company based out of Quebec. So if you got a Baton Rouge in your area, feel free to dine. And feel free that you are not supporting the United States in this trade war that Donald Trump started. So there you go. There you go. There you go. That's right. G's saying that Davion Mitchell went 5 for 5 from the field and 2 for 2 from 3. He played his role well. Yeah, I love seeing that. In some ways, that's something was a big factor for the Heat winning last night was Davion Mitchell showed up big time, got double digits in scoring, shot perfect from the field, and did what Davion Mitchell does. Hey, I can't hate on that. I love Davion. I think that the half year Davion was on our team was exciting and fun. In some ways, he's like Dennis, these half year guys that played for our team for just a little bit. But in some ways, I'll love these guys forever. And well, I like the fact that Davion showed up with his offense in a game that mattered the most for the Miami Heat. I'm sure he's making a lot of fans in Miami right now. And, in some ways, Davion Mitchell is Heat culture. And in some ways, you know what? There you go. He did something and paid off, and he helped them and contributed to their win over the Bulls yesterday. So good job, Davion. You had a fantastic game. 5 for 5 from the field. That's not stuff that he was doing earlier in the season for the Raptors. He was shooting 0 for 5 from the field, but he get like 5 steals and a charge. Yeah. Wayne's here. Good to see Wayne. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Masai as a leader is exceptional. He said in a rebuilding era, Chris Boucher is a known quantity. He needs to know about other players. Championship is on the man's mind. That's it. He gets up in the morning, he eats his breakfast, and championship is what he's thinking all the time. And he really is proud of the team he's assembled on the Raptors. He took a moment to speak about how it's important to have women represented in the organization in important jobs. He said that when he first showed up at the Raptors, there was just the great PR lady that everybody loves that was in the Raptors. She was the only woman employed by MLSE around the Raptors, and that's completely changed in the 12 or so years or so that he's been in charge. And, he talked about how it's important to respect women. Like he respects his wife, his daughter, his mother-in-law, his mother. This was all really important stuff that Masai was saying there, saying about that kind of stuff. But yeah, he's thinking about championships. He's thinking about the things that are going to get him to the next spot. And he also applauded his management team. And he also revealed that he's in negotiations with MLSE to continue to extend some of the contracts of his management team. He didn't explicitly say Bobby, but it could be Bobby's contracts up this summer. But Masai's on it and working with the franchise to make sure he keeps his team intact, that he wants his team to stay, and that he's going to be negotiating for them and helping them to stay. So I like that. He did talk about that little aspect that, there is negotiation right now to make sure his management team stays intact. This, in some ways, is something that is a little tell on how Rodgers is going to deal with us in the future with being the primary owner. So we need to watch this negotiation with Masai's management team this summer and see what the outcome is with it, because it could be a tell on what's to come in the future. He did bring up Keith Pelley and his new role in the last year of becoming in as the president of MLSE and a new person that Masai has to report to. In some ways, I really like Keith Pelley. I got to know him a little bit this year. I know Monique got to talk to him this season in person, and he had a lot of time to talk to the superfan Monique Lawrence. He also went on the air on a 905 broadcast and explicitly explained things and how he looks at the MLSE and the different teams that are involved. And everything he was saying, I liked. So I trust Keith Pelley in his position. He is somebody that I feel like has the right intentions for the Raptors and the other teams in MLSE. And in some ways, Masai let it be known in his interview yesterday that he's enjoying working under Keith also. He's saying, look, I've actually liked having him here and being able to work with him. So there's no issues there. In some ways, it is a new person that is above, but that's not anything new. He's had different people above him at different times over these last 12 years. But the thing is in some ways, Masai sees everything as an advantage, not as a disadvantage. And Keith Pelley is an ally and somebody who will help him in certain ways, I'm sure. When things get to a certain point, I'm sure that Keith's like that. So that's, Keith Pelley may have had I don't know how much his duties bleed over into the Blue Jays. But in some ways, it's like the Blue Jays in some ways are really more like a part of MLSE, even though they're not really, because their owner's the same at this point. So I don't know if Ed Rodgers is getting Keith Pelley to come and help him with Blue Jays stuff. But the sign that they just invested in Vlad Guerrero Jr. is a good sign for things that have to do with the Leafs and the Raptors, is what I say right there. Yeah. Isaac's here. He's got Darko on his mind. Yeah, I see Darko there. Isaac Campbell, I love you, benevolent one. Why don't you call me, man? Call the number, Isaac, and just say what's up, man. You can talk about anything. You want to talk about the election? We can talk about whatever, Isaac. I would love for you to call me on the phone right now, Mr. Campbell. That's right. Fiercey's here. Good to see MJ. She could call me. If MJ wants to call and gets her voice heard today, MJ could call me. Good morning, fam, and happy Thursday. Insightful presser with Masai. He's so good at drafting talent. That's what I'm saying. Seriously, this is why everybody wants him, because he's a scout first, and now he's a president next. And in some ways, if you're a scout and you come from that kernel of your job title going to where you go, You're always going to have those skills the whole time. It's not like, Masai could go and do the scouting trip himself. He doesn't even need to bring a scout with him. He could just go somewhere and he'll do it. He'll look at it. He'll do the scouting work. It's not like he won't do that. He's one of the best scouts in the history of the NBA, honestly, on the down low. Seriously. So, yeah, I'm just saying you could have a lot of different positions before you become a president of an NBA team. You could be a lawyer. You could be an agent like Leon Rose. But if you're a scout, that's the right kernel to start from right there. If you're a scout, that's right. Yeah, Fiercely saying the Sacramento Bulls, laugh out loud. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of that for sure. So we're saying, Lex, are they really doing that? Checking devices? Yes, they are. If you go to the border right now and you try and cross into the States, they will look at your social media. And if you have anti-Trump stuff on there, they are turning people away at the border. Seriously. They're telling people they're not allowed to come to the United States if they're not for MAGA. Isn't that crazy? That is Nazi shit, guys. That's Nazi shit. I'm not raising no false alarms and shit like that. This is something that is happening at borders right now. They're doing it in the airports too. They're literally somebody. All right, this is one story I heard. There was an opera singer, a very, very important opera singer. I'm not even sure they're from Canada. They were from another country somewhere. And they flew into New York and they were supposed to do an opera show at Carnegie Hall. Well, they couldn't do the show because they got held up at the airport because of MAGA checking him or at the border. And they didn't like some of his political beliefs. Some of it is just being pro-Palestine will get you blocked from being in the United States. If you have anything anti-Trump, anything pro-Palestine, that kind of stuff, they're being retributive like this. I'm serious, man. This is a really messed up time in the world right now. And in some ways, if you don't have to go to the States, don't go there, man, because you're really gambling with some bullshit right now. They're doing crazy shit right now. They're holding Canadian citizens in jail sometimes for no reason and then just sending them back. Like that happened to a young woman in the last 2 months already. It's just a Canadian woman down in the States abroad, and they come and pick her up for no reason, and they hold her in a holding cell for a couple days with no explanation. There's no due process. There's no justice. That country is gone as far as democracy and freedom until the people come up and do something about it. The Supreme Court is trying to fight this, but he's disregarding them. They told him that he needs to go get this guy from El Salvador, but he's disregarding. They're saying, no, this is not possible. And that, you know why? It's because they already murdered him. So they can't bring him back. And it's going to be a PR disaster. They're hoping everybody will forget. But see, this is part of the precedent. This is what Russia did after the World War II, when they absorbed the USSR, the satellite countries like the Baltics. They basically had a list of everybody who was against them, and they sent them all to Siberia. And well, Siberia, there was no kind of due process. There was no kind of, you're going to get a trial and a lawyer. No, they just send you and they fucking make you go there. And well, this is what they're trying to set up in the United States. They want to build super jails in El Salvador and make a deal with this El Salvador president to put U.S. citizens in the jails down there. That's what Trump said on a hot mic. He said that on a hot mic. He didn't mean to say it, but maybe they did because they want to allow it to be more normalized and understood. Is this freedom? Is this democracy? No. This is a fascist, fucked up Nazi state. And the deportation of this guy to this El Salvador jail is just the first step. They want to see how much they can get away with. And that's the thing. We got to call them on this. The judicial system has to check and balance, and they're trying. But there's a lot of retribution from all kinds of things. Like they're coming at Harvard for allowing people to protest. There's really, really bad shit going on in the States right now. And if people care about democracy, they need to continue to fight it for it, because this is crazy shit down there. It really, really is. And this election up here needs to go away from the conservatives. Anything right wing around the world right now is tainted with the fucking leader of the right wing parties in the world right now, Donald Trump. So nobody should be voting right wing parties in any of the countries around the world, whether it's Germany, Australia, Canada, whatever country that has elections coming up, because we are all in danger to fall into some mega bullshit in our own home countries if we're not vigilant. So even conservative Canadians who would normally vote for Paul Revere, you cannot do this, seriously, because Danielle Smith has shown you what the Conservative Party will do already right now with her rhetoric out of Alberta. And, you can look at me and think, oh, he's just an idiot woke person. He doesn't know what he's talking about. No, I'm being dead serious right now. And everybody needs to be smart. Vote and very much vote for democracy. And the best chance for democracy to exist and survive in Canada going forward right now is Mark Carney. That's just the damn truth. The debate was good last night. I watched the Nardwars. He's fantastic in Nardwar. So is Jagmeet. I like Singh. I would vote for him normally, but I'm making compromise. So I would ask my friends that are right wing leaning and people that would normally vote for the PC party, let's make that compromise in the middle. I'd like to vote for NDP, but I'm going to vote for liberal because I know that's the best shot for our country going forward right now. It's just the best shot. We cannot afford to do this. Australia, same thing. Y'all cannot allow MAGA equivalents to get in power in your country either. And Pierre Poilievre is MAGA in Canada. That's just the damn truth. And that's a gateway to Canada not being a sovereign country anymore, is voting Poilievre into office. Trust me, I know this. I can tell. You can see this. I'm not stupid. They can lie to everybody. They can let mush-headed people like Cowboy believe what they believe. But no, I'm smart. I understand this. I can see it all. And I can see it all from the outside. And I'm saying right now, don't be fooled by this shit. We have to go vote, and we need to make sure we vote for Carney. Seriously, because this will be really bad. He's not Justin Trudeau. Trust me. Every baggage, everybody has problems with Justin Trudeau. He is not fucking Justin Trudeau. Trust me. And any animosity towards Justin Trudeau for mandates and all that bullshit, if you're trying to place it on Mark Carney, you're an idiot and you're falling for right-wing bullshit that they're trying to cram down our throats. There's all kinds of weird media, corporate media, that's trying to slander Mark Carney right now. Just so y'all know, like when the Sun says something like on their newspaper that China wants Mark Carney, that's the sign that the corporations don't want Mark Carney. Just trust me on this. Just trust me on this. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Smooth saying Maxime Bernier doing a Jedi mind trick by calling PP a liar. Don't fall for it. Yeah, that's some of it. Like it's same thing with Trump saying, I wish that Poilievre was with me, but he isn't. He's lying. He's lying. He is. He is. Musk is very much publicly endorsing Poilievre on the down low with his money. He is funneling and he's shaping things on X in certain ways for people to, he's trying to get people to vote for Poilievre. So honestly, if you know that Musk is for Poilievre, that's enough for you to not want to fucking vote for him, right? Seriously. Seriously. Smith saying, for those of you who don't know, Maxime Bernier, he is a wealthy Quebec businessman who used to be a PC living in Florida. Yeah, I don't know. Is he People's Party or something like that? Blackhawk saying, notice the teams that beat Duke use short guards. Size doesn't matter when you have skill. There you go. All right. That's a little bit random in the middle of it, Neil, but good to see you, Neil, in the morning. Yeah. Yeah, I can get behind that. Wayne's saying, no secret, Lex. The NBA teams that rely on three-point shooting in a one-game TKO match is going to lose. Raptors are building an all-around team, inside-out strategy, much better to win difficult games. I like that. You have different weapons. You can make different adjustments to how the game's going, and you have more options. If you completely rely on the three-point shot, is what Wayne's saying, you're in trouble. And I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Man, I love to see all the comments, guys. Really, really good stuff. I'm going to start moving through the comments here real quick. I see mischief. I like to see mischief there. Neil's saying you can't teach 7 feet, but you better teach fundamentals. Yeah, yep. In some ways, it's like the players that the Raptors always look for. They're not just two-way players. They're not just super talented. They are also good people, and they're character people, and they have the right drive that in the NBA, they're not going to rest on their laurels and say, oh, I got my bag, I'm done. No, you can see Fred. You can see Pascal. These guys are continuing to work hard even though they got their bags. And that's the thing. That's the thing right there. You want the right kind of person and personality. There's so many dead notes in the NBA right now, like Zion Williamson, Ben Simmons, that, you know, you can make those mistakes in drafting these kind of guys. But the Raptors are really looking for a whole package. And that means mentally, and there are people that want to compete, and they will go all out, even when they get the money. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Most saying 905 had 11 players in the G League playing the NBA this season. Yeah, except it was really 10. They're lying. Omaroy did not play in the NBA this year. It went and even looked if he played with an NBA team before he came to the Raptors at the very beginning of the season. He didn't. He did not get a minute of NBA minutes. But technically, you got a 10-day contract. That's what it was. Wayne saying, Lex, DeMar always leaves you on that island of disappointment. No doubt his best years was as a Raptor. No replication since. Sorry for stating the obvious. I'm not going to do this. I won't diss him, man. Seriously. In some ways, look, the career of DeMar DeRozan may not be a team-winning career, but it's an individual achievement career. And that's something that's amazing right there. I mean, if somebody like Dame Lillard is going to get celebrated, DeMar DeRozan deserves to be celebrated. Seriously, he's up in what, the top 20 all-time scorers now. He's top 30 all-time career scorers in the NBA. You're in the top 30 all-time scorers in the history of the NBA. That, you know, you can sully him, you say this and that and whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why the Kings lost yesterday, but Trevor said that he was the only one who did anything to help them. And I kind of go with that. Yeah, I'm not going to kick DeMar while he's down. I know that he desperately wants to play in the playoffs and get really far, and he has not been getting there, whether it's been with the Spurs, whether it's been with the Bulls or with the Kings. He got there a lot with us. And sure, we had frustration. We had LeBronto. But, man, I'm not going to do this, Wayne. Seriously, I don't like how you paint this on DeMar every once in a while. I respect and love the man. And he may not have, not every career in the NBA is a championship-laden career or a playoff successful career. But it's a very individually successful career. And that's what I would say. Charles Barkley got the finals and lost to Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. And he never won a championship. But he did a lot, and he is a very famous and Hall of Famer kind of player. I believe that DeMar is that kind of player, that he's somebody who just may never win a championship. Karl Malone, John Stockton, so many great years in Utah, never won. So, I mean, in some ways, even if DeMar never wins, if he never gets anywhere in the playoffs, his career is so good. He's done more in the NBA in his era than a lot of his contemporaries. So it's health and it's production over a long time to get to the point where he is with his career totals. So you got to respect that, man. You got to respect that. Wayne saying, I might have to apologize to Raptor Freaks. I pressed the like button and nothing happened. I think YouTube may be fucking with the channel. Lex Strange. Yeah, either way, I don't mind. I don't pay attention to that. I appreciate that you care about it and you're enticing people to do it. I do appreciate that. But in some ways, once again, subscriptions, views, likes, all that kind of bullshit is not that important to me. It isn't. I appreciate you, though, Wayne. I really do. Mischief is here. Good morning, Raptor Freaks and Lex. I'm high on Igor Demon. Since he was a top 3 pick before the injury, who knows if he would have been a top 3 pick if he never got injured. I also like Rasheer Fleming. Yeah, those are two names that they're kind of on the fringe of what I'm looking at for what I want for our team. You know, Masai did straight up say we're looking for a big. He said that straight up yesterday. And I like that. In some ways, it's like, okay, I don't know. My ego says, oh, he must be listening to us. No, it's just great minds think alike. We can look at the roster and we can understand what part of the roster needs to be bolstered and like solidified with more depth. And that's center. That's big. And, Masai said it straight up yesterday that we need another big in this draft. So he's oriented it to that. But he did also say if there's a talent or something like that in that position, if that makes more sense in the protocol of where we're drafting, that he'll get that. So it'll be really interesting. Find out where we land and kind of where, when we find out the ping pong ball, then we can really fine tune the scenarios and possibilities of what will happen with the Raptors' first round draft pick this year. We will fine tune it then. And yeah, it could be a 4th pick. It could be a 1st pick. It could be a 7th pick. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. Mischief, it's so good to see you return to the chat, man. Good to see you, my guy. Wayne saying, who's betting that we won't see a Cleveland versus Oklahoma City final? One of those teams will probably make the final, but not both. Yeah, in some ways, it's like, I get it. In some ways, people have said that would be boring. Well, the only people that think that are the major city people or like the casual NBA fans or the mainstream media. I think that regular NBA fans like to see different teams get there. And I don't like how they dote on the major teams like the Knicks, the Lakers, and the Celtics to always be like, it's important that one of these teams are in the finals because people won't watch otherwise. That's bullshit. If the Cavs and the Thunder are going to be in the finals and they're going to have a good series, it will be entertaining. If they're the best two teams and they're going to play to the highest of abilities, that's what we want to see. We don't want to see a half-ass laid out storyline for LeBron to get in the finals over the Thunder just because the NBA wants to worry about the product and they want to manufacture an artificial outcome. No, we don't want to see this. And we'll be watching for this. So we're saying Billy Donovan, Hall of Fame. Wow. Yeah, you got to realize he was an amazing college coach. Like the Gators just won the national championship this year, right? That's not the first time they won a national championship. They won a bunch of times with Billy Donovan. I think they won twice with him, at least national championships. Maybe even 3 times they won the national championship with Billy Donovan. He's a Hall of Fame college coach, not a Hall of Fame NBA coach, but he is a Hall of Fame college coach, and that's why he's going into the Hall this year. That's right. Stargate saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. All right, Stargate is here. Stargate, you call me. If you want to call me, man, you can get on the phone real quick. I know you were itching to do a Thursday Think Tank. I guarantee you Bobby and Masai have about 5 to 7 players on the board already for this draft. They will pick depending on the situation presented that they're in. Exactly. I was just actually saying this a couple of minutes ago. Yeah. And I trust in them. I trust in them way more than I trust in the Wizards front office. How about that? Randolph saying playoff blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, and most informative gang. We are here because there's purpose for our lives. Tap into your best qualities and help make the world a better place. There you go. Listen, it can seem daunting and overwhelming, world politics and weird shit right now, but in your own little slice of the world, you can do things within your power to make it a better place. Every little small action echoes out with a butterfly effect, just like evil that men do lives on and on. Iron Maiden. But good deeds can also be passed forward, and good energy can be passed around too. Listen, the evil that is done in this world reverberates with pain and suffering and anguish for generations to come, and it's not always totally felt out. The genocide of the Palestinian people is something that will be reverberating for hundreds of years. The detaining of these people right now in the United States is going to be causing pain and anguish for years in pain bodies. That's why if you have the choice in your life to make somebody happy, or do something that's just like special or nice for someone that you didn't have to do, adding that little bit to the world helps in some ways counteract the other shit. And, I really do believe that you want to be the example of the world you want to live in. So the way you live your life and the way you carry yourself could really help turn the tide for better things in this world. I appreciate Randolph Phillips with the blessings and the words of wisdom, and blessings to the Phillips family, all the Rapper Freak families out there, man. Randolph saying Lex and RFF. Kings GM Levin is missing what Masai's extra draft picks again this year. Oh, well, Masai finds someone else to fleece. Well, we have different people we fleeced over the years. We don't have to fleece the Kings. In some ways, the Kings deal last year with Jalen McDaniels was a job to do to help them. They needed to deal with that guy, Sasha Venchenkoff. And well, Masai knew how to deal with him. He knew how to strong arm him. He knew how to do things. Maybe the Kings franchise last year made promises to Sasha and they didn't want to break them, but Masai didn't have no problem breaking them and getting to have not pay him. You want to go to Greece and finish your career? I mean, I don't know. I listen. It's not that Masai hasn't fleeced different teams in the years over the years. New York's always a good partner. Let's just put it that way. New York's always a good partner to try and fleece. I don't know. It's not always about the fleece either. It's not always about the fleece. Sometimes it's about the scarf. That's right. Randolph saying Lex and Raptor Freaks. Oh yeah, I just read that. That's a duplicate. Okay. Kenny saying fascinated how well our rookies did this year. It's crazy. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's just good scouting, very smart planning. And the other cool thing about our 5 rookies is they all 5 play different positions. There's none of this weird, like, you could argue that the Washington Wizards were worse with their draft last year because some of their players cross over in what they do, and they're kind of like in the same places. They're competing for the same stuff, like Keyshawn George, Bub Carrington, Alex Sarr. I mean, I'm just saying, our team, we drafted 5 of the 5 positions. Shed at 1, Jacoby at 2, Jamison at 3, Jonathan at 4, and Ulrich at 5. And they all have a path to grow without directly competing with each other and staying as a nucleus going forward and keeping that good camaraderie and that good feelings. That's awesome. That's what I'm saying right there. That was part of the reason why the first bench mob was so successful, is because you didn't have people competing for the exact same job or the exact same position. If Freddie, DeLon, maybe a little bit for point guard, but they were such different point guards that, it made sense to have both of them. And DeLon could actually play 2 guard, or they could flip and DeLon could play first for 1 and Fred could play 2, but then Norman, Pascal, and Jakob, you got a 3 or 4 and a 5. So that's smart planning. That's smart business. That's making it fit. And I like that. I like that about how we do that. Yeah. Yeah. Kenny, good to see you, man. Always good to see Kenny in the chat. Stargate saying, I said it already. I'll say it again. The Raptors franchise are the most different team in the NBA. We don't and can't operate like any of the other 29 teams in the league, period. Yep. Masai said that. He says it all the time, and it's exactly true. He said there's benefits to being who we are, and there are. There's some of them people don't see them and they don't understand them. Some of it has to do with our positioning in the marketing, in the market of the globe of the world, much like the tempo. But yeah, and there are detriments too. And in some ways, Masai said once again, I don't give a shit about players that don't want to play in Toronto. Who cares? We move on. We don't need them anyway. Dame Lillard. We don't need players like that. So, that's how it is. Period. Period, Mischief. All right, period. Stargate saying we need to embrace that as fans and stop trying to want the team to operate like one of the American-based teams. Yeah, it's lazy, Raptors fan nation. It's lazy journalists and take artists on YouTube and to just say, oh, we should be doing things more like Danny Ainge in Utah and there, like with their rebuild. It's lazy, William Liu. It's lazy. And the things that you were saying on your Hello and Welcome podcast about the way the Raptors are going about the rebuild, why can't they do it the way they want to? Why can't they do it in the way that we're going to do it? We're a special case. And well, in some ways, we got to play to our strengths. And our strengths are, in some ways, our front office and being the only Canadian team in the NBA. So, William Liu, come on, man. You've been covering this team for so long. Why can't you understand this? Masai said this over and over again. We got to do things differently. We can't do things like the Wizards and the Jazz. It's stupid to think that we should because we're not them. And honestly, we've had more success than them. So why the fuck will we copy them? Like, seriously. Come on, Will. Come on, man. Why do you guys in Basketball Rewind have a grudge against the front office? That's what I want to ask. Seriously, William Liu, what the fuck do you have against Masai Ujiri? Why can't you just say, I think Masai's doing a good job? And Alex, yeah, I think you're right, William. I think that they're doing good. Yeah, I kind of been down on Ujiri before, but I kind of think he did a good job this year. Why couldn't you just fucking say that, William Liu? Seriously. Why does there have to be any kind of criticism? Honestly, these guys are doing a good job. Seriously. These guys fortify themselves in their job because they do such a good job that when y'all show up in the hot mic room, y'all don't got nothing to pull apart. They do such a good job. There's like, man, Michael Grange's coming in there. Man, what angle could I come at Masai today to try and fuck him up in this press conference today? What could I come at him with? He's just impervious. It's making me mad. Michael Grange, go fuck off. How about that? That's what I say to that. I mean, seriously. I mean, really, come on now. Like, seriously, those guys came at Masai with all kinds of crazy shit. And he's like, yeah, whatever, man. I'm Masai, bro. You don't understand this shit? I'm a motherfucking Masai, bitch. And I will draft somebody good wherever we draft from. I have that confidence. I have that skill. I have that acumen. Because I'm skilled at this. I'm a scout. And these other motherfuckers, Leon Rose, I don't know what he is, man. He's some sort of entertainment lawyer or some shit. I don't fucking know what he is. I know what I'm doing. These guys don't. And that's evidenced in the track record of the Raptors front office the whole entire time Bobby Webster and Masai have been in charge. Y'all keep saying they've not been doing good since the chip. They've not been doing good. Bullshit. You know what's not been doing good? The NBA itself was not doing good after the chip because there was a pandemic and there was a fucking close down. And then the only Canadian team had to play a season in Tampa. Why? What the fuck, man? What do you expect? We got set back. We got put in a detrimental place. We had to play 82 games on the road. And y'all have the audacity to say that the front office has failed since the championship. There has been unforeseen, crazy-ass world circumstances that have shaped the Raptors since the 2019 championship. And I would say y'all need to give them more credit for sailing the ship through in a more healthy way, not having all kinds of toxic shit happen to our team in the last 6 years since the championship, than fucking sewering them and saying they lost it. They lost it since the chip, man. The front office don't know what they're doing anymore. They've lost it. I mean, seriously, can we get real here and just say, good job, Masai and Bobby, for keeping our healthy franchise healthy and through a lot of turmoil and change. And then we had a rogue fucked up inside the job from the Sixers with fucking Nick Nurse and his bullshit. So, yeah, they've weathered this shit masterfully, in my opinion, as far as things. That's right. So we're saying none of the ESPN people watch the Raptors, man. Constant misinformation. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, they've not given any shine to our rookies. If I see Jamal Shed on an all-rookie team this year, I'll be so happy. I think that he deserves it. I think that Jamal Shed should be on the second-team all-rookie team. Seriously. Because in some ways, they're going to put jabronis on the second team, all rookie team that have not scored double digits average this year. And we have a few guys on our team that are rookies that have got to double digits average. And y'all need to fucking recognize them. If you're going to go fucking give a player that averaged 6.5 points this year a rookie, all rookie fucking nomination, you're fucked. You're fucked. Seriously, you're fucked. Yeah. Let's keep going. Stargate saying that Wizards team is going to be right back in the lottery next season, even if they get flagged. Yeah. Yeah. They don't have a good coach. And they don't really have, like, they're saying, oh, they're so poised and stuff like that. Motherfucker, you're looking at the wrong team. We're poised. The Wizards, I can see them just being the same Wizards year after year still. I don't see everything y'all are saying. Seriously, there may be some promise in their rookies. Bilal Coulibaly, whatever. But I'm just saying that y'all have had this before. There's been a couple times where y'all have had a very exciting young nucleus and you're building up. I can think about Juwan Howard, Chris Webber, Calbert Chaney, George Mirzan. There's been times where the Wizards had good stuff going, but that didn't mean jack shit. It didn't mean jack shit. That's right. That's right. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, tanking for flag, just a tank with flag. That's right. That's right. That is right. Yeah, Stargate saying BI3 is the cheat code as long as they remain relatively healthy. I like that. I like that. Yeah. The addition of Brandon Ingram cannot be quantified because it's not been seen. And everybody's fucking deciding what the Raptors are going to be next year. Once you see Brandon show up and he wants to get back to all-star form, our team wants to put him on a platform to be at all-star form. He's going to fit in with us. He's going to play better defense and pass more. And he's going to be okay with the divvying up the piece of the pie with the rest of the guys in the Raptors. Man, I mean, seriously, everybody's an expert, needs to see what's happening. This Zach Cram guy on ESPN sees it. They're adding Brandon Ingram to a team that was already pretty good. Yeah, they're going to be good next year. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be in the playoffs. That's right. I'll do the classic card very soon. Let me just check on some other things that I've got on here. Let's see. Is there anything interesting on Blue Skies? Not really. They're talking about Masai a lot on there, of course, and in the press conference from yesterday. Let's see. Raptors Reddit. You got anything for me to react to? They're saying that Pascal's untouchable in trades now. I don't know what that's about. They're making light of Davion Mitchell with the plus 19 with 15 points and 8 assists. Really, really good times. They're bringing up that Brandon Ingram in his last 3 years in New Orleans led them to the playoffs twice and the play-in 3 times. This was an injured team for 2/3 of them in a stacked Western Conference. That's a good point. So Brandon Ingram has a track record of helping guide his team to postseason, and that's what we want to see. Let's see. Watching the Bulls lose in the play-in and finish with the 13th pick in the year when they should have been tanking. Yeah, and then people are saying the Raptors fans are like, whatever. That's so stupid. Yeah, the Ringer has rated Scotty Barnes the 43rd best player in the league. I mean, I don't feel like that's totally horrible. He could be higher. He could be higher for sure. He will be higher over time. He will be higher over time. So looking at that, let's see what else we got. Kareem, where are you working? You're working for now I work for y'all. Where are you working, man? I don't know. It's a orange shirt there. And we see Tori's breakfast on this Discord. Happy birthday to Dwayne Casey, guys. I think in some ways he's my favorite Raptors coach of all time. He really is. Darko is maybe going to beat him, but Dwayne Casey, happy birthday to you, man. Seriously. Dwayne is 67 or no, 68. 68. He's 68 today, guys. So happy 68th birthday, Coach Casey. That's right. Also, happy birthday to former Indiana Hoosier and former replacement player for the Raptors, Juwan Morgan. Juwan Morgan played like 2 or 3 games for the Raptors in around Christmas when everybody had COVID. And he was one of the replacement players in that fateful Boxing Day in Cleveland that suited up with Yuta Watanabe, Svi Mihalik, Delano Banton, and Chris Boucher as they tried to take on Kevin Love in a full Cavaliers team and got routed. But yeah, Juwan Morgan, sorry. Happy birthday to you, Juwan Morgan, and of course, our Coach Case. Yeah, happy birthday to Coach Casey. Y'all, the WNBA Fantasy League, I have 2 spots open. Now, I want confirmation right now from a few people. If you are in the chat right now listening to me, and I name your name, I want you to say yes or no, depending on whether you want to be in the league this year. This is going to be my official check-in. And the people who say that they want to, I will go ahead and make sure you're for real. Cool Cat, are you here? Would you like to say for sure you're playing? I think you said that yesterday. James, if you are here, James, I want confirmation that you would like to play for sure. JP, Country Kong, if you are around, I need you specifically because I don't know if you're around anymore right now. In some ways, you need to get in contact with me and let me know you do want to play. MK, I'm pretty sure you want to play. You're the defending 2-time champion. So I'm just going to make sure. Edmund, we the race mode daily. You need to let me know. In some ways, if you don't want to play, if you're not serious, I would love to give your spot to somebody else just in case. I know you took on the spot just to fill out the league last year, and I know you're a busy guy. But Edmund, if you want to play, let me know. Kareem, let me know. Full ass if you want your team back, and Fiercey. Those are the teams right now. I need to know if you guys want your teams back because I'm going to start soliciting to get new teams in for the open spots if people are not wanting to be involved. Wayne saying, Will Lou and his boy toy found it difficult to give an African executive credit for excellence. Even the worst is better than the second best rated executive. Some must only play and never lead. Ignore them. Well, I didn't exactly hear what they said because I didn't watch the Hello and Welcome podcast. And Smooth, I'm going to say this right now. If you post Sean Woodley and them in the Discord, I'm not going to watch it. First of all, partly is because I don't want to steal their takes. And I have not watched the Raptors show, Hello and Welcome, Locked On Raptors, or hardly any other YouTube content on the Raptors most of the time, unless it's teams, channels like To The Point or Mike's channel, because I don't want to rip them off. I feel like if I listen to them, I might echo some of the stuff they're saying. So I ensure not saying what they're saying on purpose by not watching them. So I will never be watching Locked On Raptors or Hello Welcome. Now, Kaloy watched it, and he was the one who was kind of telling me that William Lou was kind of down on the rebuild process for the Raptors and thinking that it wasn't going well. Man, it's going so well that you guys think it's not going well. That's the thing right here, man. So, yeah, in some ways, I'm not totally informed on what William Lou said exactly. In some ways, Kaloy clarified it a little bit later because in some ways he made it sound a lot worse. But I think he's comparing our rebuild with Washington and Utah, and that's a non-starter to me. Why would you do that? They're unsuccessful teams that haven't done jack shit in their history, and we have. So why would you even compare them? And once again, the process of what they're doing is not the same as ours because once again, we're a unique team, just like Stargate is said. So that's where I'm at with that. Yeah. Laughing at Fiercey. Let's see. Cool Cats. Good morning, Raptor Free crew. Just a quick shout to everyone. I have just a few minutes to pop in and we'll pop up again for 11 a.m. Okay, so maybe she's back right now. Stargate saying, rumor has it the Tempo is in talks with Liv's Cambridge. That would be a good marketing strategy. Won't mean much on the court initially, but for simple visibility and global recognition. Now, she's a player, right? We can't do this. We're not allowed to get players yet. So, but they're in talks with her for what? Like the next thing we got to do is hire a coach. That's really kind of the next thing. They're designing the court. They're taking a little bit of input on the court, but the next thing is to get a coach. And before players and anything like that, is she a coaching candidate? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. I thought that was the name of a player that was a problem in the league. Isn't that the person who had issues with the Sparks? Isn't that? Kareem saying, so I got fed up doing physio. People suck. There's no appreciation anymore and too many insurance scams leading to having fake claims. I moved on from physio, although it's my love. Okay, so you got a new job, and that's what that picture is on Discord. Okay, I got you, Kareem. That sucks that there's too much insurance scams. You know, that's part of the problem, man, with privatized healthcare is there's so much scamming and there's legalized scamming. The insurance companies are scamming. So it's not even like it's like that. That's why there should be a public healthcare like Canada has done for so long. We do not need to change that. And that, once again, if the right-wing conservatives get in power, they're going to try and make us pay for our health care. If that isn't enough for a reason for people to not want to vote for him, besides all the MAGA bullshit, the fact that he wants to privatize our health care, which is one of the best things about Canada, honestly. It really is. We're a great country because of it. Seriously. Yeah, let's see. Kareem saying, I hope you guys keep paying your taxes because I now work for the city. You guys are paying me. Okay, so you work for the city of Toronto. Okay, cool. Neil saying, Liz Cambridge has too much negative baggage. That sounds like a hoax. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I don't really want that name around. As attractive and amazing Serena Williams' name being linked with Toronto Tempo, this name is not a good name to be linked to us. Yeah, Cool Cat saying Serena is a great global brand. She is multilingual. She brings her global tennis fans to support the Toronto Tempo. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see all of this. She's a very, very popular person around the world, and it's very, very smart that she's partnered with our team. Cool Cat saying, I love how most of our previous players keep talking about their Raptors era. Now they get more exposure. U.S. side talking about Raptors to U.S. market is great marketing for the team. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the championship team is doing a lot of good work for us down south. They have respect for what we did and accomplished up here, and they don't sully it. They don't put it down, and they talk about it in a real way. You know, I saw an interview with Fred after a practice yesterday that somebody posted in Discord. And, you know, they're looking to Fred right now on the Rockets team for guidance because, well, Fred's guarded Steph Curry in the playoffs when he played against him in the finals for the Raptors. And he was very successful at guarding Steph Curry when we beat the Warriors in 2019. Well, he's got that matchup again in the first round, Steph Curry and the Warriors. And, well, the young Rockets are coming to people like Fred on the team that have experience and have been there, and they're asking him, what is it to expect? And Freddie's being that leader and teaching the young Rockets about the playoffs and the levels you got to go up to when they start. He's giving them a little bit of trying to tell them, until you play in it, you won't know, man. But once you get there, you'll see. So, yeah, Fred VanVleet carries his Raptors history with him well, and he honors it and cherishes it. And in some ways, you know, he talked about it in the interview. In fact, Fred said this, and it really made me feel like, yeah, this has been a long time for some of these guys. I mean, Siakam got postseason last year, but a lot of the guys who moved on from the Raptors, and Anunoby got postseason last year too, they didn't get postseason for a long time. They won the championship. We did the bubble playoffs with Mark and Serge, and then we didn't get the playoffs really since. We had that little series with the Sixers with Scotty's rookie year. But Siakam and Fred have both said they've been out of the playoffs too many times in the last couple of years, and they didn't like it. And in some ways, Freddie returning to the playoffs in this first round, he doesn't take it lightly. He's coming in this thing really seriously, and he wants to take advantage of this opportunity because he knows not every year is it promised that your team goes to the playoffs. And he's had a few years where he's missed them. So, yeah, I like what these guys are saying. OG on the down low, you know, he honors and respects his Raptors years, but he's, you know, he's a weird guy. He's going to be him, right? Randolph saying, Lex, Norman Powell will suit up for Jamaica in the FIBA World Basketball World Cup. Yeah, in Americas. Yeah, that's a good sign. And they're even making overtures that the Thompsons may be joining him, the Thompson twins. Yeah, Jamaica could have a very, very good team if they start with this trend of Norman Powell first, and then Asura and Almond Thompson are on that team with them too all of a sudden. And who knows, Scotty Barnes could be eligible to be on Team Jamaica too. So who knows? That could be a very powerful team. Fiercey's giving Mark Gasol a GOAT. There you go, Mark. Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear that podcast with Zach Randolph that Mark did. Yeah, I'm interested in that. Stargate saying that Zach and Mark were the heart and soul of that Memphis team. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Y'all, anybody wants to call me, I'm over 2 hours. If we're going to get one more call in, it's going to have to happen soon because I am going to wrap up the stream soon. Stargate saying, you guys know that Scotty can play for Jamaica if he wants to. Yeah. I've said that before. Yep. I just said it actually. Kaloy saying, morning, Lex and Raptor Freak family. Davion looking like my Mr. Heat culture out there. Yeah. I'm sure Spoelstra is very pleased with him. I would say that he's probably leapfrogged Terry Rozier on the depth chart because of something like last night. That's right. Wayne saying Raptors overall grade is a solid C. Could have been a B+. Those last second losses dragged the score. Yeah, I don't know what they're gauging it on. I mean, if they're going to give a B to the Wizards, the second worst team this year, I mean, what is your rationale? Seriously, if your rationale is that they have a good rookie class and the future's bright for them, well, then you gave us a bad grade, Kevin Pelton. You gave us a bad grade. Yeah. Stargate saying, I don't totally trust Keith Pelly. I remember him on the Fan 590 back in the day. People like Gordon McCown used to bring him on for hockey segments a lot. He's a staunch hockey guy. Well, this is the thing. Keith Pelly has worked for TSN. He's worked for PGA. He's worked for different entities. Now, the reason why I trust him is because when he was on the 905 broadcast, he was very explicit about how he sees his role and his plans for what things that he wants to do. He's not trying to hurt the teams. He wants the teams to win and succeed. And he also made overtures that he firmly believes in investing in big franchise players to keep them on the team so that they can do well. The thing with Vlad Guerrero Jr. is symbolic of this. That's how they treat Scotty Barnes in the future will be symbolic of this. How they treat Austin Matthews is symbolic of this. So in some ways also, he had some really good, interesting ideas about 905, not even the Raptors. He started talking about how I can see how we can do things on 905 even better. And I'm working with Luke Wynn and the Raptors organization on how to do this better. And, he had ideas for the Raptors too. In fact, he was talking about on the 905 broadcast, he wants to bring back the Sprite Zone. And they did. They brought back the Sprite Zone briefly for cultural, like Raptors look back 30th anniversary kind of thing. But he could actually look at bringing back lower ticket prices in general. And he did say that he feels like the ticket prices need to be a little bit more affordable for everyday fans to come in and be at the game. So he said a lot of good stuff. And like I said, Stargate, he spent time with Mo. Like he gave her a lot of time and just talked to her about his job and what he's doing. And that's a big sign right there that if he has time to talk to our super fan and give her a moment, he's a busy guy. That says a lot about his character, is what I'm going to say right there. That says a lot about his character. Now, it could be in the past he was on, he's more hockey focused. Let's not get it twisted. This guy's taken on his job for all the aspects of MLSC, including TFC, Argos, all of it. Most saying I was big on Darko talking about his rotation the other day. Yeah, I mean, the next year's going to be competitive. And this is the thing. Darko's not an ice cream man. He's not trying to please everybody on our team. He's going to be very tough and hold accountability. And honestly, this is what's going to happen. Some of these rookies that played so well this year are going to have sophomore slumps. They're going to not be exactly as good at some points and sometimes. Maybe there's like Grady this year had the scouting report out on him and he had to adjust because the defenses were starting to scout him and focus on him. Well, this year, if we're healthy for most of the year and having a really solid starting lineup, we can weather some of the rookies being sophomore slumps or different people not doing as well all of a sudden because they can be out of the rotation or down at 905 for a little bit of time in that way. It could be that we don't want to stop Jamal Shed, Jonathan Mobo, Jamison Battle from getting a lot of minutes, but they are not going to get as many minutes this year on the Raptors because of health. This year, they got a lot of minutes because of health. Well, if health's good this year coming up, it's a lot more competitive, and it's going to be a lot more harder to get more time on the court and break the rotation and get that spot. So, but it's also going to cause a lot of competition, and there's going to be different players that rise up at different times of the year, and hopefully Darko will be aware of this, and he'll put in the guys at the right times when they are kind of like riding peaks. That's part of what the coaches do. They're watching the players in practice. They're seeing the effort. They're seeing if they have good energy. They're seeing if they're in a groove. And sometimes they make decisions on minutes distribution and who's going to start or who's going to play based on what they see in practice. So there's going to be a lot of competition this year. He's not an ice cream man, so some people are going to be disappointed. But all the players understand the drill. They understand that, yeah, we're going to be kind of going for the same things, but also we love each other and we're all supportive of each other. And we're rooting for each other too. That's a really tough balance to have, but they're going to do it. They're going to be fine next year. Watch, because they got a good culture. Stargate saying, but let's see how it goes. Maybe he surprises me and gains my full trust. My initial gut reaction to hearing him and the things about him have made me trust him right now. But if something happens in any kind of other way, well, we can change that opinion real fast. Real fast. Kaloy saying, not exactly Stargate. He started out as a hockey guy, but he's been around since he handled CFL and then the European leg of PGA. He sees himself as a Canadian Lewicki. That's a great music to my ears. I know Stargate and I were talking about Tim Lewicki yesterday in the Discord, and Stargate was effusively positive about Tim Lewicki's effect on our team and how he caused us to be separated from the Leafs and allowed us our own way of being in the era of Masai. So yeah, I mean that can be bad if Kaloy's saying that he feels like he's the Canadian Lewicki, Randolph's saying, Lex, when the media is saying the team has fast-tracked their rebuild, Masai said the Ingram trade did not affect the rebuilding, just grabbing available talents, but the process continues. Yeah, he was very clear that he's still going to be looking for more talent to add to this team, and he can't have too much talent. And that's what he wants to do. So maybe other opportunities are going to come. I don't know. The draft is the big place to get the next talent. The lottery pick is the next place. Now, is there going to be some sort of wowing move in the free agency of this summer? Probably not. Maybe some little bit moves, maybe some house cleaning with people like Garrett and Chris. But for the most part, I don't know. I feel like Masai has gotten the big enchilada of adding talent in Brandon Ingram. But who knows? Maybe he has some other things up his sleeve we don't know about. Who knows? Yeah, Stargate saying, thanks for the information, Carlos. Still don't totally trust him yet. Sorry. Well, I mean, you're right. You're right. In some ways, we got to just see how things go along. But I have good feelings about it. I do. I have good feelings. Fiercely saying hockey is so big that the French debate yesterday was pushed up to 6 p.m. so that hockey heads would watch their precious Montreal Canadiens hockey over politics. That's crazy. Well, I guess in some ways that's part of like the culture of Canada. And we need to do that. We need to do that. In some ways, we need to keep our culture. And well, doing that is kind of like a part of it, I guess. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to hate on that. In some ways, it's like, well, priorities, I guess. Montreal Canadiens, hockey, French speaking debate. I mean, they're both important for that audience. Well, they had to do something there. They had to do something. Neil saying at Stargate, doesn't matter that he is or has been a hockey guy. He holds a position that is about driving revenue. Leafs alone can't cut it, and he is intelligent enough to know it. That's part of it. That's part of it. I mean, the Raptors are a cash cow. The Raptors in a losing season for a D- season or whatever, D+ season, the Raptors increase the value of their franchise over this losing season. The Raptors are not losing value even in losing the last couple of years. The Raptors brand is strong and grows and gets more and more value as time goes on. And yeah, that's in some ways, that's great. In some ways, you got to wonder if the Leafs, having been like an original six team and around so long and dwaddled with failure for decades now, how much do they see increases and new expansions in their fan base? Seriously. Maybe Leaf fans are having babies and they have more kids coming up and that's it. But overall, because also Canada's sliced up in different territories for different NHL teams, the Raptors have a much bigger net of new fans coming in all the time because we're total across Canada and we're global too. And also we're a brand that is very attractive in some ways. The Leafs are attractive in some ways, but not really globally. Not globally. They're attractive in their market, but the Raptors are attractive around the world. So in some ways, that's part of the reason why the Raptors brand is increasing in value faster than the Leafs brand is because we have a bigger market. We definitely have a bigger market than them. And we are more successful at attracting new fans than the Leafs are right now. This is just the damn truth. Seriously. Stargate saying Blackhawk, it matters to me. Yeah, well, we'll just have to see. Hopefully Stargate is wrong and we're right because we don't want bad things in the future for the Raptors. And I want to trust Keith Pelly. I do. I really do. That's right. Wayne's saying oligarchy equals right wing equals corruption equals criminals. That's basically it. I mean, the veil has been lifted. These people have been doing this kind of action behind the scenes for a long, long time in boardrooms out of our attention, not publicly known. But now the audacity of them, they feel like it's game over. They're going to do it all in our faces and act like we won't do a damn thing about it. Well, let's show them they're wrong and we will do something about it. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, Kaloy's saying exactly. The Raps is worth 1 billion more than the Leafs. In this case, it's good that money talks. Yeah. Yeah. In some ways, that's it's the root of all evil may be the root that actually saves the Raptors through this political turmoil. Seriously, the money's too good. They don't want to mess it up. Adam Silver doesn't want to mess it up. No, he doesn't. And he's a lawyer, and he'll try and fight from the inside to protect the NBA, including the Raptors franchise. Yeah. Kaloy saying people are saying both Chicago Bulls and Sacramento Bulls are both eliminated. Yeah. That's convenient and easy. Stargate saying, hey, man, I'm not trying to convince or force anyone else to feel how I feel. Hence why I said I don't trust him. I gave my reason why. I'm not sure why the pushback let my ass off. Well, no, we can have differences of opinion, and we respect that. I'll note that Stargate is wary of him and doesn't totally trust him. And I've already explained my opinion on Keith Pelly right now. Yeah. Let's see. Carlos saying, look at how fast the Kings light beam era ended. Oh man, yeah. Let's see. Wayne saying, "Well said, Lex on Demar. Individual, great career. I agree." Yeah. I think that he's just one of those type of players, like Malone, like Barkley, like Stockton. He's a great player, an all-time great player, but he's just not going to have the team accolades unless somehow, some miraculous way, in his last couple seasons, he gets in a position where he does get that ring somehow, some way. And that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. I'd love for that for DeMar. I really would, honestly. I really, really would. In some ways, you know what I would do if I was the Raptors, Masai Ujiri? You really want to heal some shit? In some ways, I know he wouldn't accept it probably, because I would say give him an honorary championship ring after the end of his career, and say, look, man, I traded you right before you would have gotten this, but I traded you. In some ways, we want to give you an honorary ring of some sort to commemorate your help in building us up to a championship team. I think that would be classy, but in some ways, I know that DeMar on the down low may refuse it and say, I didn't deserve this, man. I wasn't on the team that won the championship, so I don't want this ring." That's just how he is. He's a high character dude, man. Really, really high character dude. Most saying W stream, W vibes. Thanks you for the cutoff. I'm 15 minutes over already. Yeah, I love everything from the Raptors this week. I'm happy. How can you not be? Yeah. The vibes are really strong on the team. And even when the press tries to pick them apart, they're frustrated. They're very, very frustrated. We noticed in the last 2 days of press conferences, the press were not talking out of their ass on hot mics after that. They learned their lesson. And once again, I love Masai coming in and saying, "Don't worry, y'all. You're all in trouble. Don't worry, y'all aren't in trouble." Hilarious. Hilarious. In some ways, that's good what he did, because he's letting the fan nation know, stop coming at the press. So it's like he's helping a couple people when he did that at the beginning. It's funny. He's like, "Oh, is this on? Is this mic on? Hello? Is this mic on?" He's doing Rudy Gobert. He's like, "Is the mic on? Oh, you fools." It's so funny at the beginning of the press conference with Masai when he did that. And then he's like, "Don't worry, guys. You didn't say anything that bad. Nobody's in trouble." And then in some ways, when Masai says that, once again, he has power in his words. Raptors fan nation will hear him. It's like, okay, they're not going to get in trouble with the press. Let's leave this alone. Let's stop attacking them in DMs and talking all kinds of crazy shit to the press that were involved in dissing our beloved Scotty. In some ways, it's like Masai's calling off the hounds. It's like, "Don't worry, guys. You're not in trouble. You're not in trouble." And that's in some ways a signal. Hey, Raptors Nation, chill out and leave the press alone right now. It's kind of what he was saying also on the download there. Somebody, Stargate said, laugh out loud. Tank with the flag. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, Tank with the flag. Yeah, in some ways, we could land Cooper. And Masai said, "You know what? We'll do it. If we get Cooper, we get the number 1 pick. He's not trading the pick. He will draft Cooper Flag, and we will take him on the Raptors team, even if it doesn't make any sense totally to us." He said that yesterday. If we get the number 1 pick, he's drafting him. He's drafting him. He said that on the down low. He didn't say it explicitly, but he said that pretty much. Reggie's saying, "Wait, the Bulls are picking 13th. If it stays that way, it will convey to the Spurs the pick." Interesting. Well, that's good for the Spurs. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to help the Spurs out some way or somehow. I don't know. That's weird, man. Wayne saying, "Happy birthday, Coach Casey. Definitely the best Raptors coach so far." Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to diss Darko. And of course, Nick's easy to dump on, but he is our championship coach. Those guys are definitely 3 of our better coaches. I mean, Lenny Wilkins is the other guy I like a lot. Butch Carter is underrated in some ways. But yeah, I mean, Case is the guy, man. Case in some ways had some of the most victories with us, I think. Did Nick coach long enough to pass Casey? Because Casey might have the most coaching victories as a Raptors coach still. Because I don't think Nick actually got there. He might have, but he had a lot of losing seasons too. And Casey had a lot of winning seasons. And he coached us longer than Nick. Nick was only our coach for 5 years. Casey was our coach for like 9 years almost. So Casey should be still the most winningest coach in Raptors history as far as the most. Kareem, you want to play? Okay, Kareem's going to play. Kareem's in. All right. Neil saying, "Give the man a chance. It's only natural. If he turns out to be anti-Raptors, then he will hurt the bottom dollar. If he is not anti-Raptors, he will continue to support. BI3 is a sign of support." That's very good right there. That is very good right there. Seriously, that's really good, because like that's exactly right. We've spent some money already on extensions for Scotty and Emmanuel, and then what we did with Brandon Ingram just now too. Exactly. Smooth saying, "Oh, okay, I won't post them in Discord." You can do it. I don't expect me to talk about them or watch them. If you want to post them for people like Trevor or anybody else who wants to watch them, you can post them there. I'm not telling you not to post them. I'm just telling you I'm not going to watch them. Just so you know. And my reasoning is why I told you. But yeah, You can post them. And actually, it's very helpful. Some people want to see them. Definitely post them. Whether it's the Raptors Today guys with Akil and Paul Jones and stuff like that. Whether it's Smith and Jones, whoever it is, if it's Raptors content, it's free to put it in there for the most part, unless it's AI. And yeah, you can post them. It's just I want to let you know, even if you post them, I will not be watching them. But other people may be watching them. They want to. So you can post them. Don't stop posting them. I just wanted to make it clear I'm not going to be watching them. Just in case you expect me to watch them, if you put them there, I won't be. I won't be. And it really is because I don't want to have the same voices though. And I may have, yeah. Wayne saying I've listened to them, Will Lou and Boy Toy for a while now. Why you call him Boy Toy? I love Alex Wong. He's awesome. And they were always negative on the Raptors. I never felt good about the Raptors after listening to them, even when we won the championship. Yeah, some people are just negative kind of people. They have a negative mindset, and it's hard. Will Lewis struggled with this, man. He really has struggled with this in his life. And I wish him well. I hope as he gets older and over time, he gets wiser and he lives a happier life. Honestly, I could be like him when I was a younger person, too. I was very negative oriented, a negative mindset, and I had negative things in my life. That's half of it right there. That's half of it right there. Really. Some ways he's miserable in some ways. And that's part of what lends to the content is that energy comes out. It comes out like that. Smooth saying Liz Cambridge has an OnlyFans, I think, a sex channel. Tempo has to stay away from her. I give Reggie a dunk for this one because I like that he just wrote that her OnlyFans is a sex channel. Smooth, you're awesome, man. Reggie, you're so awesome, man. Yeah, I'm gonna give Smooth a dunk for that one. There he is, right there. You're at 18, man. Sex channel. She has a sex channel. We better stay away from that. Yeah, it was some weird like problem or something with her, right? Wasn't there? Stargate saying again at Blackhawk, I don't totally trust him. I gave my reason why. I also said he may surprise me, which denotes me having said that. So yeah, you guys don't need to be worrying about this and going back and forth on this. Everybody's been noted on their opinions on this. I'm going to give him a good chance, and I believe in him right now. But I reserve the right to change my opinion on him if things are not good at some point. So in some ways, he's kind of coming at him in a mistrusting way. I'm coming at him with a trusting way, but either one of our opinions can be swayed between Stargate and I. Yeah. Trevor's saying, Lex, what do you think of that one arm Emmanuel basketball player in the draft? Which team's going to draft him? He's not going to get drafted. He's declared for it, but that doesn't mean he'll make the league. Listen, this guy is actually really amazing. The guy who has one arm that just declared for the NBA draft, some people think it's a joke, but it's not. This guy is actually a real hero, and he is very gifted and talented. But being a one-arm player is not going to get him in the NBA. I'm sorry. In some ways, it's symbolic that he did this. It's not really realistic. Seriously, I'd be shocked if any NBA team drafts this guy. I'll be shocked if anybody signs him after the draft for undrafted either. He may be better off doing something like Ice Cube's Big Three or something, or some place where he can give them some attention than going to the NBA. I think that he's a legit player and he can play basketball and he is a good player. But unfortunately, it's a real detriment to only have one arm. I mean, that sounds crazy. I just had to say that. It's just the damn truth. So I don't see anybody drafting him, but I want to say, don't disrespect the guy. Give him a lot of respect because he is amazing. And he's done so much with what he has that you should be proud of him. And if he doesn't get drafted, he's just not going to get drafted. Trust me. So it is what it is. But yeah, I don't think it's a joke. Everybody said, is this a parody? Is this an Onion article? No, this guy's a real deal. I saw him before and had seen him play, and he's very interesting the way he does stuff, having only one arm. But he can play. It's just that I'm doubting he'll get drafted, Trevor. I really do. Kaloy saying Alex Wong is more skeptic in what Masai's building right now. I guess he's the kind of guy that will doubt until the Raptors actually win games. It's like we are not seeing the same team. Okay, so Alex Wong's actually the one who's doubting Masai the most. Man, why do you do this, Alex? You're such a talented researcher and author. You've done such great work. Why are you doing this now, my guy? Seriously, why don't you trust him, Masai? Why have you not learned? How you guys always mistrusting Masai, and then he comes through and he shows y'all that you should trust him, and you're not getting this message. Why were you being fooled so many times? I'd say fool me once. Okay. Fool me twice? Oh, that's not my fault. Well, how many times has you been fooled, Alex Wong, with believing that Masai Ujiri ain't doing a good job or questioning him? Man, it's like Scotty said. He knows. Trust Masai and Bobby. Scotty said that on Monday in his press conference. He gets the picture. Why can't you? Why can't you, Alex Wong? You interviewed all these Raptors greats from the original Raptors team, all these people from the Raptors organization. You learned all about Rob Babcock. You did all this different stuff. Why can't you understand that you should trust Masai? There's enough of a track record here, Alex Wong. I'm so disappointed. I thought it was William Liu that was causing all the problems on Hello and Welcome. But it's actually Alex Wong who's the biggest one that's kind of like, I don't know what they're doing. Once again, please watch the Raptor Free channel. Listen to my explanation. We are not like the other teams. And in some ways, unlike the other teams, which go, some of them go 1 step forward, 3 steps back. Some of them go 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Some of them go no steps forward and 5 steps back. We go 3 steps forward and no steps back. The moves and the decisions that Bobby Masai make, they're just hitting. They're hitting all over the place. Jamal Shed, Jamison Battle, Jacoby Walter, Ulrich Shamshade, Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, Oshai Abaji. It's just hitting all over. Why can't you see this, Alex Wong? Seriously, clear up your glasses so you can have clear vision, so you can see this shit for real, man. Come on, Alex. I love you, bro. I think you're awesome. I've always thought you were a funny one between you and Will. You're the cool one, bro. Don't lose your cool card because you don't trust in Masai. Like, seriously, this is the one rule about being a Raptors Nation. Trust in Masai. Because it's been proven over and over again. As soon as people start doubting Masai, boom, Jalen McDaniels traded to Sacramento for Davion Mitchell and money and all kinds of amazing things. I don't get why these guys don't get this. They just got Brandon Ingram on an extension, locked down for Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk in a first-round pick. Oh, my gosh. How much proof do you need, Alex Wong, you idiot? In some ways, I don't like calling you an idiot because I like you and I respect you, but you're being an idiot on this one is what I'll say on this one. That's right. Neil saying Pelly will be fine. Just because he knows hockey doesn't mean he can't do good in other areas. Have a little faith. It's not about Leafs versus Raptors for him. It's all about all teams for him. We've got good separation. And in some ways, the time that has passed. So in some ways, this is something, in some ways I want to drop this. Y'all, I don't need y'all to be arguing about Keith Pelly for the rest of my stream. So we'll keep going. But everybody's opinions are noted, and we'll give Pelly a chance. Either we trust him or we don't. We'll see what happens over time. Stargate saying Liz Cambridge thing is a rumor. I don't think it's true, but I kind of like her attitude. Sometimes a little asshole is good, but I doubt she'll be involved with the team. Yeah, I don't really want her to have anything to do with me, man. Yeah. He's saying, wow, I didn't think my personal perception of Keith Pelly would garner so much pushback. I think you're being a little sensitive. I think this is just a lively debate. I think that in some ways it doesn't really matter. In some ways, this is a topic that hasn't been resolved, and you could be right. So you're fine, Stargate. Don't worry about it. And Blackhawk's fine too. And in some ways, I'm fine too in this. We all have our own little set on this. And well, we just got to kick back as fans and see how it all happens. And hopefully the trust in Keith Pelly that I have and Blackhawk has won't be like misguided. And maybe you can be coming over and saying, okay, yeah, he's doing a good job. Now, if you're right, and he does kind of screw us over, which I don't want, well, we'll come back and say, yeah, Stargate was right to mistrust him. He was right to mistrust him. Kaloy saying, I think it's fine, Stargate. It's very healthy to be wary of any CEO. I agree with that. Yeah. Cook is saying, wow, are you still going? I'm just over 2 hours. I'm not that long over. Edmund saying, all the best to Lex and crew. Edmund, do you want to play WNBA again this year? I want the answers from you guys. Who wants WNBA that played last year? You want to say that you're back and you want to play, but Edmund, you got to play. You can't just like set up the team and then not do anything with it for the rest of the year. We want people to play this year. Stargate saying it's not just about getting talent with Bobby and Masai. It's about getting the right talent that fits. Exactly. Kasparis may be better fit than say a Dylan Harper, depending on who the team is. Yeah. Common Crazy saying no swearing Thursday. I already broke the rules. Sorry, man. Trust me. Trust in Common Crazy. I like that. I'm going to give you a dunk, man. That's just chaotic fun. Common Crazy saying forget about trust in Masai. He's saying trust in me. Trust in me that I'm going to come in here and tell Lex to stop cussing. All right, Common Crazy. You crazy. So you're going to get your third dunk of the year. You're at 9. Trust in me, he said. Trust in me. He's so funny, man. That's like chaos, man. That's chaos, man. Common Crazy saying also, Masai should have traded Pascal and Fred earlier than that. He'd be all good. Nah, they had to respect those guys as champions and fully see what could happen. I mean, they wanted to give Pascal time with Darko to see if it was a good mix. And then Freddie, the thing that happened with Freddie. It is what it is. And I'm not mad at Fred, man. I'm not mad at that. These aren't losses, man. Our team's in such good shape right now. So many people said, oh, you let Fred walk for nothing. Bullshit. We didn't let him walk for nothing. We got all the years that he was on our team of getting a really good player on a low contract. We got him in the best part of his career, where he's on his rookie career, and he was barely banking anything. And we got so much value out of Fred and the playing time that he played for us over the years. You can't say this. In some ways, it's smart that we let him walk when he started becoming a $40 million player. I mean, seriously. It's not about what we lost when he left. It's about the time we spent already and all the value and things he already did for us. That's why that argument always pissed me off. It's like, this is a trope that the media is using to gaslight the fans into thinking that we got cheated. It's like, oh, Fred walked for nothing. We didn't get anything. We didn't sign and trade him. Yeah, we did get stuff for him. We got his service as a player over his career when he played for the Raptors and added up to a championship, helping the championship, a G League helping the championship. You know, it's like, you get the time served. You get the time on the contract that's a rookie contract on the cheap. Like, I don't get this, man. I don't get this. People will make any kind of perception to try and make it seem like it was bad or something like that. Trevor's saying those people who make Raptors content and be so negative about the front office on the download, they hate the team. So they give the ammunition to American sports people to talk bad about the Raptors. There you go. There you go. Right there. And Neil's fine. Neil's fine. Yeah, Neil, you're good. I don't know. You guys are cool, right? Seriously. But no, this is true. Trevor's weird, man. Trevor, it's weird. They always write this shit and they make this shit up. And I feel like in some ways it's because they learn it from American media. And it's like, oh, this is how you be a journalist. You got to be negative. You got to put down things. You're not a real journalist if you're positive and happy about things all the time. I don't know. You could do journalism and be like positive. You don't need to be negative. In some ways, negative journalism is manipulative and gaslighting usually. It's usually that it's written a certain way because you have a ends to the means that you want from something and somewhere. Yeah, no swearing Thursday. There you go. Yeah, no swearing. No swearing. All right, nobody else wants to call right now? We're going to get out of here soon because nobody else is here. All right, classic card. Classic card. We ain't going to forget that. We are not going to forget a classic card. Let's see who we got today. Oh, this is fun. This is cool. Actually, I'll talk about this guy afterwards too. All right, here we go. Here's the classic card. It's a $100, 100-point card. It's not that hard, and there's no light on it, so you should be able to see it. This is easy, man. Somebody better get this right away. You better get this right away. Old number 53 for the Detroit Pistons bad boys. Yeah, you better get this right away. Come on, somebody's got to know this right away. Where are my old heads? Where's Ahmad Rashad? Where is it? Yeah, always cool. We grown-ups. There you go. I mean, it's a friendly discussion. It's just in some ways, you know, the nature of this channel. I don't want to harp on things, and people keep going back and forth on the same subjects. No good. Smooth's got it, even though he spelled it weird. Edwards, yeah, James Edwards. This Buddha, that's the starting center or power forward for the champion bad boys. James Edwards, Buddha. And you know what? He was at a Raptors 905 game near the end of the season. It was really cool to see James Edwards. He was at a Motor City Cruise game, and he was sitting at half court with Ron Harper Sr., and they're hanging out as former NBA players, former champions in the NBA, hanging out with each other at half court. And James Edwards still lives in Detroit, and he's doing well. He looked healthy. He looked really good when they showed him on camera. So, yeah, he's one of my favorite players when I was a kid. When I first started watching basketball, I was a Pistons fan, and James Edwards was one of my favorite Pistons, along with Isaiah Thomas and Dennis Rodman and Vinnie Johnson and Bill Laimbeer. So, yeah, 100 points to Smooth for the classic card of the day, recognizing Buddha. Buddha. All right, yeah, let me write it in. James Edwards. Edwards. And it's Smooth. He continues his streak. That's 5 in a row, Smooth. You've gotten this week. You've gotten the classic card every day this week, my guy. Slug Deezy is not coming and seagulling them from you right now. That's right. All right, let me do the wrap up. I guess we'll finish up right now. Once again, y'all, we're on Discord. Some of y'all I'm asking to come in there and join. Once again, if anybody wants to play the WNBA, like Fiercey just said, I want my team back. Yep. And I'm pretty sure Cool Cat wants her team back. Kareem wants his team back. Yeah, we're gonna have that started, and the draft is gonna be 2 weeks from this Sunday. So we got a couple of weeks to go before we do the draft. It'll be in May. So we're doing the draft the first Sunday of May is when the draft will be, and it'll be on a Sunday on the stream. Sunday report. May the 4th, I believe, is what it is. Yeah, you'll experiment with Discord this holiday weekend. Awesome. Well, hopefully we'll see you in there and you can hang out with us because I'm in there. And when you experiment, you want to find us and experiment with us as far as like being able to talk on the mic and also see my shared screen. Like later on, there could be some Raptors content that comes out today that you guys might enjoy watching me react to. And, that's what we've been doing. Like the Masai press conference yesterday. It's cool to sit in there, watch, and like react to it in real time, having my little comments, and Tristan and them are listening to me. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So yeah, let's do the wrap up real quick. The Raptors had their season-ending interview with Masai Ujiri yesterday. It was very promising, very good. Masai sees a bright future. He's very proud of the team for what they accomplished this year in development. They came along a long, long way. He's given good grades to Darko with the job he's done is amazing. He's being very, very proud of Scotty and his growth as a leader and the things that he's done and behind the scenes, becoming a better player in the NBA and a better Raptor. And yeah, just in general, he's very happy with the rookies. He's very happy with the direction of the team. He's also feeling very confident that the Raptors will compete for a championship again in the near future, in the years to come. And I agree with him. I mean, honestly, if we do things right and we continue on our path of not really having too many steps back, the steps back have been injuries. The step back has been a very shitty schedule this year. But otherwise, the things that we can control mostly have been on point and going really well. So yeah, let's see. Cool Cat saying, yeah, it's the password thingy, but swamped with work, so I'm behind Rapid Freak Crew. Yeah, you know what? If you can get your password sorted out, that's the main key. I know this is part of the issue that Monique has been having also. That I know this is a problem everybody's been having to a degree with accessing Discord. They don't make it totally user-friendly and intuitive. And that's annoying to me, honestly. That's annoying. Kevin Pelton says the Raptors did a D+ on their season this year. That's bullshit. But Zach Cram says that the Raptors, out of all the teams that didn't make the play-in or the playoffs, have the best chance of making the playoffs next year. I like hearing that. Y'all, if you want the straight goods on Canadian goods, eat at Baton Rouge Grill House and Bar. It is a chain that emanates from the province of Quebec, and there are a few here in the GTA. So if you want a nice, classy place to eat and you want to support Canadian company, Baton Rouge is my Canadian choice today. Grill House and Bar. So you're going to find a Baton Rouge in your neighborhood. There you go. Let's see if there's any news on the Blue Skies. Nothing right now. Nothing really going on different things I'm tabs on right now. Yeah, we go from there. There's the Discord. We see, yep, there's Kareem's new work shirt. There you go. Happy birthday, Dwayne Casey. Happy birthday, Jawan Morgan. And yeah, the Raptor Freak WNBA Fantasy League. We're going to get that set up real soon. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream today. I appreciate everybody and on this call-in show today. Thank you, Tristan, for calling. I really do appreciate you calling. It's not a call-in show if nobody calls, and he called. Thank you, Tristan. I appreciate that. And y'all, seriously, Raptors, hire Tristan to take care of your audio needs with the press conferences. Seriously, get that young man down there, and he will help you get y'all's audio cleared up. Because y'all having the reporters sound like they're taking a leak while they're asking questions. If it sounds like William Lou's down the hall and in the bathroom, and the next time I hear a Raptors press conference, I'm going to be saying, y'all need Tristan Trey right away to come on down there and get your audio clean. Seriously, get your audio clean. And maybe you can even have him around so he can turn the mic off so the press aren't getting in trouble. Stuff like that. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching the Rap Freak stream. Tomorrow is going to be a Friday freak out. I'll be back tomorrow. It'll be a regular stream still, but we may be seeing Friday freakouts turn into short content of me just freaking out, going on a rant for like 10 minutes. That's kind of fun. You guys enjoy those. But anyway, I appreciate everybody. I hope everybody has a great Thursday. Believe in the Raptors. Trust in Masai. Trust in Darko. Trust in Scotty. And just understand, we're on the rise. We're going to be a playoff team next year. Believe, Raptors fans. Don't let American media, sports media, Canadian media, hockey media gaslight you. to thinking that we're not as good as we are. We are. And just trust Masai. He knows what he's talking about. He's not full of shit. This team's going to be good. We got Brandon Ingram. Next year will be great as long as we have a healthy year. So just believe, Raptors fans, and come back on the bandwagon, all you fans that couldn't be with us this year because we lost so much. Seriously, we're going to be good next year. Just trust me and come on there. Trust me like Masai. Let's go, Raptors. I'll be back tomorrow. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and join the channel if you want. Let's go, Raptors.